They're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately.
Captain's log.
Sportos, motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads. They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
Drop your shorts and bend over, Mr. Babar.
River. And you know, when you say per capita, there's many per capitas. It's like per capita relative to what? What?
Wow.
Q snatch.
Wow.
My fellow Americans,
I know you aren't allowed to talk, but I don't see either one of them jumping up and saying I'm wrong about that.
Here I am like an idiot. Here I am like an idiot.
what?
I'm telling you straight. It's my way or the highway. So anybody who wants to walk, do it now.
I'm your huckleberry.
Something strange happened to me this morning.
Was it a dream where you see yourself standing in sort of sun god robes on a pyramid with 1,000 naked women screaming and throwing little pickles at you?
No.
Why am I the only person that has that dream?
I'm just a happy camper. I'm just a happy camper.
It's good to be the king.
Groovy.
Did you have a shake?
Diet Coke!
So that's the kind of fight it's gonna be.
Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil.
Bring out Jadid!
Groovy.
Throw me a frickin' bone here. I'm the boss. It's good to be the king.
Beef jerky?
No, son, thank you very much. No, it gives me the wind, something terrible.
Oh.
Sorry, I farted. It's not Irish. It's not English.
Oh, yeah. Fair, what is my conscience with the horses and all that?
It's just, well, it's just pikey.
Bow, bow. Yeah. Hey, that mic is really loud, but I think that I can fix it. Okay. Oh, it's good. It's a little shaky. It's a little shaky. There's a lot of stuff on this screen. Holy smokes. The amount of graphics. This is what happens when I let my son pick what my stream should look like. So, for those of you that don't know, there's a couple of streamers that kind of game stream, kind of prank stream that my kid watches occasionally. And he was like, I was like, what do you think I should do with my stream? And I started showing him the options. And so over the next couple of days, in honor of, thank you, Raphael, what's up, Tron? in honor of my kid picking parts of my streams, I'm going to change up. Oh, pardon, I'm very loud. I'm sorry. I will turn this down. Check 1, check it 2, check 3, check 4. Check. This is as low as it goes, and yet. Oh, and then I see the volume's up on here. Maybe I bring that down a touch. That'll help. There you go. Sorry. Whoa, it's spicy. What is there that's why, because there's a gain filter on it, and it doesn't matter what I do with the audio. It makes it loud and proud. All right, so we will turn the limiter off, and we will take the compressor, and we will bring the compressor down a little bit, because that's what we do. There we go. And that should make it a little more tolerable. Hey, if I don't laugh too loud. Okay, so there's a good general audio thing, and then I can mess around with that. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay. Hey, oh, Natalie. Love 12th night. Love you all. Sorry I've been a little MIA. Not at all. Bless you. Welcome back. Thank you, and hi, and how are you? And you missed the whole, since you're on YouTube, you missed the entire kerfuffle that made me actually create a graphic just in case I say something that the YouTube gods mistake for earnest speech. What? Just saying. Yeah, it can happen. There we go. Hold on. There you go. That's better. In case I get into trouble, I can put that up. That'll be the fix for it. And there we go. And I'll turn the alert box way down.
What?
Yeah. So there you go. Just in case, right? So over the next little bit, I will be playing with some of those things just because it looks like Battlezone. It kind of does. That's true. I love Battlezone. How do you spell kerfuffle? I just found it's good. Yes, Kerfuffle. Yes. So I have a lot to talk about today. Not the least of which is that Trump. You know how I've been talking about Trump's career as a microblogger. Right? We've been talking about how Trump, former President Donald Trump, current microblogger Donald Trump. Well, apparently, I know it's hard to tell with the extraordinary quality of of just the messaging and the art and the all the stuff that they're putting into this microblog, and it just didn't take off. It's not doing its thing. It's very sad. The whole thing is very upsetting for him. So Trump's entire basically his career as a microblogger has gone the way of every other thing he attempts. As we all know, Trump, if you're just joining us and you're a maggot or a troll and you're confused about this and you're like, how is it that he's such a winner and yet he lost? How come he's the best at everything, and yet he fails at everything? How is it that every time he hires someone, they're just awful, even though he hires the best people? What is the happenings? Thank you, Sweet Indigo 45. I don't understand. Why is it that Donald Trump is the best at hiring the peoples, and he knows all the best peoples, which we will see in just a moment, and in the bestings of the peoples, he keeps hiring people who either turn on him or are completely terrible at their job. Why? Who could that? Why is that? Well, it's because, as we know, Donald Trump is a fuck up. He's been a fuck up. He's always been a fuck up. And if his dad wasn't rich and he wasn't born, and Trump wasn't born rich, we would have never ever heard from this dude ever. There are people like yours truly who were born pretty darn poor. That's right. Yeah, a lot of bootstrapping going on over here. Made a name for myself in an industry with a 2% success rate. 3 of them I've made it. 2% success rate. I'm in it. It's good, right? And I'm still in my career path on my way up. So I feel good about that. Meanwhile, Trump was, born on third base and thinks he hit a triple, and keeps running into the outfield for some reason to try and catch his own team's foul balls. I don't know what. I don't know. So it's amazing. Trump is essentially a massive, massive fuck up. So it should come as no surprise to anybody, I think, that he's failed at online blogging, at microblogging. How do you fail at microblogging? Talk about phoning it in. And I don't know what you're thinking, but how? The quality. It's so, where this side of auto-posted AI Tumblr blogs are you going to find the mwah of Donald Trump's mwah that he puts out on his page with statements like, wow, I hear they have thousands and thousands of boats parading in Jupiter, despite the fact that they tried to cancel us. Everyone is having an incredible time. On this day, we especially appreciate everyone who served and fought for our great country. I love you all. But, I know what you're thinking. Sure, it doesn't make much sense, and it's embarrassingly self-centered for Memorial Day, but at least it's in a tiny font on a big white page. I blew this up so you could see it. This is, come on. So, and they're so good. A lot of these, this is the one that got the website basically shut down, though. I think he got a phone call from some folks that he's going to get sued by Dominion if he included the links, and so they took this link down that was associated with this, and then they shuffled it and stuff. And this all is like breaking. Alarm went off at secure building in Fulton County, Georgia, where ballots are kept. Building found wide open. You mean the parking garage we looked at yesterday? Honest to God, and so on and on and on. There's just a dozen of these. Why are the radical left Democrats in Georgia fighting so hard that there not be a forensic audit of 150,000 absentee ballots in Fulton County? There can be only one reason, and that is because they know the vote was corrupt, and the audit will show it. Republicans must fight hard and win. Basically, just pitiful. Now, I know what you're thinking. How? It's obviously successful because when you click on it, you get a donate page. Now, those of you that might remember, sorry, this is hilarious. This page just, honestly, it's like you go to one of those sales seminars and they go, we'll build the website for you. It's exactly like that. So it's got a video up here, which, by the way, if you'll notice, the little posted video where he can do his little sales pitch, look down here in the corner. What does that say? Rumble. They're posting it on Rumble. We'll get to that in just a minute. Remember when Rachel did that whole thing about how people were automatically getting signed up for months and months and months of money just pouring out of their accounts and all that kind of stuff? And you got this 25, look at this down here. Your contribution, $100. I didn't fill it or check in any of this. This is all pre-checked. All this stuff is pre-checked out, okay? And look at the bouncing $100. Just like any billionaire who doesn't need your money would do. Oh, God. It's on Forer, not even Fiverr. Right. They couldn't. It's $250-er. Right. Hype Train Level 5. Thank you guys over here on Twitch, twitch.tv/HousePark. You can also get there by going to fwank.com, FWANQ.com. Fwank. That's awesome. Somebody just joined something. That was beautiful. I don't know what that was. Oh, a Hype Train success. That's what it was. We got a Hype Train. There's new Hype Train music. Don Jr.'s on Cameo at $525. Jesus, can you imagine? All right. Maybe he's trying to price himself out of the market. I don't know. Anyway, so in this, your contribution $100, your total impact $400. So there's a matching funds from God knows who. I don't know where that even comes from. What this whole BS is right here. But this little bouncing $100, your contribution will benefit Save America Joint Fundraising Committee. This is just that Joint Fundraising Committee is Trump and anybody else. And, it's not Alan Weisselberg at this point. So it's just Junior. Okay, so Wow. All right. So again, I didn't fill out any of this stuff. It comes pre-filled out at 100, which is bouncing. Your total impact $400 is going to this. Submit your name in the official founding member donor list by making this a monthly contribution. Already checked. Make this a monthly recurring donation. Already checked. It says it twice. You gotta love Fiverr. President Trump's birthday is coming up on June 14th, and we want to surprise him with a record-breaking fundraising day. Will you help us? Step up now. Yeah, buy a billionaire a $1,200 a year birthday present. Holy shit. And this down here, by the way, $100 monthly plus $100 on 6/15. Do you see that? So not only is that, like, do you make this a monthly contribution, but in June it's $200 because on his birthday, donated before using an account, just log in. I mean, look at this. Federal law requires us to use our best efforts to collect and report the name, mailing address, just grayed out, nothing, blah, 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 who cares? So, you could play it from here, sure. You could go up and see what Donald Trump's welcome video is like. It's 47 seconds. What's the problem? But why do that when you can go to the Donald J. Trump special announcement website on Rumble, their page on Rumble. This is brand new too. This is him recently. It's killing it with the Rumbles though. 58. Look at that. That is just, incredible. Let's just see. Obviously, I'm already sold. I don't know. I think you guys are too. None of us needs any more convincing to give him $100 a month plus twice in June. God, that had a birthday. So let's see what the hard sell is. I'm guessing this is gonna it's gonna look like a military ad, and I don't know why he's in Rudy's glory hole, but he's on the other side of Rudy's glory hole. This makes total sense actually. 58 rumbles. Special arsehole.
Joe Biden is a disaster.
Oh my God. Open our borders. Where is this? This is South America. We're seeing a chunk of South America there and a bunch of people in masks.
Causing massive illegal immigration. Killing good American
jobs on that Canadian pipeline.
Jobs. Proposing the biggest tax increase in history.
But it's for infrastructure as opposed to just giving money back to the it's because you made the biggest tax cut for corporations, not for people. We'll hash that out later. Let's show him tripping going up the stairs.
Biden is falling down on the job badly.
We cannot allow our country to be destroyed.
What is with the Call of Duty music?
And that's what's happening.
That is what's happening. Quick cutaway. I can only get out one sentence before a COVID brain kicks in.
President Trump is fighting to elect America First Republicans to stop Biden's disastrous policy.
Real quick, are all the people applauding for this video? Because it seems I don't want to split hairs, but it seems like you're showing multiple shots from different events, and yet the applause sound effects is uniform. It's just giving me the feeling that it's not genuinely from an event. And I may be. Oh yeah, the seal was blurred. It was blurred out on the stand. Yeah.
Policies, and he needs your help.
We will get the right people in office, and it'll happen fast.
No, it won't. There's not even an election till next year. And by the way, there was one in New Mexico, and the Republicans lost by an enormous amount. Oh, you can't hear him? Is he not?
We must stop.
Oh, it's very quiet. Hold on. All right, here it comes. Here, I'll roll that back for you.
Your help.
We will get the right people in office, and it'll happen fast.
This is a man desperate to look more orange. He's got a fresh, like, is that a burnt orange? I mean, like, it's a new shade. It's a new hair shade.
We must stop Biden, Pelosi, AOC, and Schumer.
Yeah, everybody else can stay, though.
We must stop the tax hikes and illegal immigration.
Look, we have to stop the tax hikes, and they're showing him signing executive orders on his first day. Like, these are the tax hikes on this side. Still low? Okay, all right, I'll turn it all the way up.
And illegal immigration.
We are going to elect the best people. People that love our country. People that know how to make it work.
Unlike the last batch, based on what? Mike Flynn, Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell.
America Joint Fundraising Committee is responsible for the content of this advertising.
And where the money goes. All right, so that's the ad that plays in that little window on Trump's microblog right up here in this corner. And because I love you, I was like, what is this channel? So I clicked on it, and it's only got 2 videos. It's only got 107 subscribers. And the first one was not a hit. They did one, and then it obviously they're increasing every 6 days. They double their rumbles. So clearly this is going to be amazing. But I need to see what this first one was like. Why they scrapped it. This was the first draft.
Joe Biden is a disaster, opening our borders, causing massive illegal immigration.
Yeah, we saw that one first.
Killing good American jobs.
Right,
proposing the biggest tax increase in history. Biden is falling down on the job badly.
We cannot allow our country.
Oh, so they took this part off because he thought it looked too real.
Country to be destroyed.
President Donald J. Trump needs your help. Go to. Oh God, it does look pathetic. It was a good choice.
And that's what's happening.
President Trump is fighting to elect America First Republic.
Yep, that's the blurred out seal. So it looks they blurred it out, by the way, not because he wants to make it look like he's still president. It's because they want to make it look like he's still out doing shit. This is just stuff they have, from when he was president.
Republicans to stop Biden's disastrous policies, and he needs your.
These are from the big rallies after he's been president, because he's that popular.
Help.
Look at this. I mean, the only thing that's different about these 2 videos is that's a good freeze frame. The only thing different and by the way, everyone, you should give this dude, if you're a Trump fan, and I know there's a couple in there. In the chat room right now, maggots, Trumpsters, I know you're out there and I know you're lurking. You guys need to give this guy every dollar you possibly can. I'm just saying this, there's no middle ground. You must give him every cent you can possibly. Hold on 1 second. I have to bring this up 1 second. Bring this up. I don't want you to actually believe that I mean that. Hold on 1 second. There's a little bit of work. 1 second, if I may. Okay. Now, so there you go. So every dime you can possibly send his way, please send every cent to DonaldJTrump.com.
What?
The president needs your help. He needs every dime you can possibly spare, and this is no, I mean it. I really do. Okay, so I just put that up there just in case YouTube gets confused about what I mean and don't mean from now on.
Go to DonaldJTrump.com right now.
Yes, do that. Go right there.
What?
No, don't. Really don't. Sorry, I won't overuse it.
Send your money to DonaldJTrump.com. We will get the right people.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This is so pitiful. No wonder they took it down. Holy shit. Listen to that. Whoa.
We will get the right.
Hold on. Back.
Right now.
Send your money to DonaldJTrump.com. We will get the right people in office. And
it'll happen fast.
It'll happen fast.
Really? You think so? But what do we have to do if we wanna make that happen?
Send your money to DonaldJTrump.com.
Jesus Christ. It's painful. Send your money to DonaldJTrump.com. Not donate today, not support us. Oh my God, that's awful. That's amazing. Oh, and by the way, to the maggots that are in the chat room, please, yes, send your money.
What?
To DonaldJTrump.com. Holy hell. That is dude. I thought it was just going to be that with the graphic. I really did. This is so amazing.
Right now.
Send your money to DonaldJTrump.com. We will get the right people in office, and it'll happen fast.
And by the way, no, it will not. It will not happen fast. It won't happen at all. He's just going to spend the money on his own debts. He's not going to give it to Republicans to get them elected. What he means is, if you send him money and he thinks there's enough of it, he'll go around and he'll campaign for like easy wins in the Republican Party so he can keep his numbers up. So it looks like, it totally looks like a personal injury lawyer. But like one that you would go to and end up with more injuries.
We must stop Biden, Pelosi, AOC, and Schumer. We must stop the tax hikes and illegal immigration. Go to DonaldJTrump.com right now.
And what?
We are going to elect the best people.
Totally. Yeah, the best.
People that love our country. People that know how to make it work.
Go to DonaldJTrump.com right now. Save America Joint Fundraising Committee is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
Holy hell. Like I didn't watch that before this. That is frigging amazing. This part alone.
Send your money to DonaldJTrump.com. We will get the right people.
I understand why they made a second video. Why they made where is it? I have to go backwards to this. Yeah, why they revised it. They took a full 13 seconds out of him begging for money and took the whole thing off the front of it. Oh God, that's amazing. He's also having trouble with Trump Tower in Washington, D.C. They're thinking about selling it. Oh, no doubt. Well, Suzanne, Facebook won't let you log in. To what? Oh, there's something weird happening on Facebook in terms of the moderator thing. They are changing the live stream stuff there. So I beg your pardon on that. Man, that's amazing. Holy hell, that's pitiful. And I have to say, I'm genuinely shocked. Why aren't people just dumping money on this site? Why aren't people, why do you have to beg for money like this when there's so many amazing things to purchase? Like more red hats, signature photo mugs, don't blame me, I voted for Trump signs, and shirts, and entry mats, and also Freedom Hat, and he doesn't drink but pint glasses, and Trump shirt, also Trump bumper sticker, also don't blame me, I voted for Trump, everything, also more stuff, also next, and then there's so much more, and then look at this, a Ted Nugent Trump hat, and then a flag. You can just have the entire "Don't Blame Me, I Voted for Trump" collection. Oh, and then you get 2 window decals for $12, not just one. And "Make America Great Again" playing cards. This is great. By the way, it comes with an extra 4 aces that fit in your sleeve. No matter how you deal that deck, you always win. He's back on Facebook and Instagram, so he might be dropping a blog for something he can get for free. Probably, yeah. Oh my God, I don't understand why isn't he making more money? That is just it's so very, very sad. Oh, I see. That's why I was like, why is the alert box where it like there it is. Go up here. And then put, no, it should be behind, there. Okay, and then I'm moving all my stuff around so I get this thing up here. There's so many things flying around on the screen. There we go. All right, now at least when I hear the alert box, I'll be able to see it. Ouch. So, anyways, I thought I'd take you through that little adventure. I'll let you know if they update it. This is amazing. Like, I feel like I need to find a way to download this video because I feel like they're gonna take it down. I don't even know why it's still up. If I was his staff, I would take this one down. I mean, they hid it by making a new one, but maybe it works. Maybe it's, you know what it could be? This could be the video they put in the emails. So this one is the one, 2 is the one on the website. The first one is the one they put in when you get an email from him and there's an embedded email in it. You know what I'm talking about? Where's the infrastructure shirts, right? Hey, Carlene, how are you? Trump toilet paper comes used. All right. So, anyways, I'm super curious. But my guess is that's what that is. Post it on Twitter so we can download it. Yeah. Let's see. I'll copy that one and post it on there. Hold on one second. There I'm back. Oh, back. Hold on. There I am. Yep. There we go. So I just posted it on my Twitter feed. Ouch. So all right. So let's get going. First of all, there's Eric Trump was on Sean Hannity. Apparently there is some major stuff going on with subpoenas and stuff. And it's hard. I found the Patriots Roundup in Dallas on one of these knockoff sites. And for anyone watching the YouTube gods, anything like that, this is, I do not espouse with this as fair use. I am talking over what they are. This is not what, I don't believe what these nutcases believe. And I haven't even watched this video and I guarantee that's true. And it's not because we have a disagreement about things. It's because they're genuinely awful. I think I have too much stuff on the screen. It's making me all choppy. My computer just cannot handle it right now. It's like, it gets a little like, I'm okay. No, I'm not. Okay, so I need to see what, this is the whole Sidney Powell thing. I don't know how long this is. Wish me luck.
Here we are. I've waited all my life to say I'm sitting next to Sidney Powell.
That's please tell me that's irony.
Thank you very much. As Sidney said, we thought we would just ask a few questions of her, the tough ones that we think most of you want to know if we have time.
Where can I get that, another one of those sweet vests, and does it require me being rolled?
We'll grab a few cordless mics, and if you all have questions.
Oh, yes, I have some questions. Please, yes, I have a few questions.
We'll try to save a few moments of that. So, all right, welcome to the right side with Doug Billings, where we have the most intellectually mature audience in all of podcast land.
Okay, so basically just taping podcasts at this thing. All right, so it's a podcasting con, no pun intended.
Sidney, what the hell is the Kraken and where is it?
Yeah, and by the way, the Kraken was apparently released 3 times in varying degrees months ago and has failed miserably, and they referred to her as the Kraken, and then the thing is the Kraken, and now everyone's Kraken.
Well, I think the first time I mentioned the Kraken was when we did the infamous press conference at the RNC.
Why was that infamous? Oh, right. Because Rudy was a gooey mess.
I did not know I was going to be speaking at that press conference. I had been told I was not to say a word until suddenly I get there and suddenly I get a message that says, okay, you're talking about Dominion. And that was 10 minutes or less before I walked out there to do it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, in all honesty, though, there's no way that you can't just speak extemporaneously on something like that. And, you know, you're the only person who can do it without getting into, you know, getting sued for $1.3 billion. Oh.
The way I have proceeded for a long time, and especially every day of the representation of General Flynn.
Thank you, Girl in the Mist. I actually sent Trump's money to Hal. Oops, I accidentally sent Trump's money to Hal Sparks. Oh my. It happens. It's all right. Just make sure you do it monthly and I'll pass it on, I promise.
And since then, I go to bed at night and I ask God to just make me a vessel to find the truth. And
yeah, vessels don't find truth. They may hold truth, but they're also basically just empty. I think you would be a truth detector. Hard to say.
To put me on whatever path I need to be on, to show me what I need to see.
It was a $500 per ticket, right? Yes.
To help me understand
That's amazing.
What I need to see and to give me the words to say what he wants me to say.
And apparently,
so I never plan.
And apparently the Lord thinks it's funny to leave you hanging.
I never plan a speech. I never do. I haven't in years and years and years.
That's weird. You can't tell.
So I just try to speak the truth in love. Sometimes that's difficult to say, and sometimes that's difficult for people to hear. Mm-hmm. But I always strive for the truth. And those words just flew out of my mouth that day. I was so angry at the massive, widespread fraud we had witnessed and the refusal
I think she said fraud, not fog, but whatever.
Of everyone in law enforcement at every level to look at it, take it seriously, do anything about it.
It's amazing. It's almost as if you look at her and this dude she's on stage with and not take them seriously. What kind of world is this?
We have witnessed a complete institutional failure of every institution in our government, state, local.
That's funny. Well, you know that whole thing about fish stinks from the head? I mean, you know who you should talk to? Sydney, you should talk to the dude who was president when all this stuff went to shit. Who was that guy? I can't remember him. He like, I don't know what he's doing now. Like he had a microblog, but it fell apart. His son's on Cameo. I can't, I'm blitzing on his name. But, you know, obviously, if the government sucks during a period of time, then someone is obviously, you know, someone who's in charge of it would be responsible for making it suck. Yeah, by the way, she is doing the Illuminati hand gesture that when Obama did it, it meant he was part of a pedivore cabal of Satan-worshipping something or others.
Federal that was supposed to protect us, we the people, and the citizens of this country, and protect the rule of law, the republic, and the Constitution. They all failed.
Ugh,
they knew what was going on.
Terrible.
Many of them were part of it from both political parties. And I knew early on, right after the election.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Democrats, because, you know, that's who you're running against. But, I mean, you know, it was, let's be honest, it was really the Republicans who were, the Republican deep state, I think even, who's behind all this, pretty sure. Like, they're the worst. But, you know, yeah.
And that I was going to have to take a different path because the campaign and the Republican Party and all of that were not going to take on what needed to be done.
No, it's almost like they wanted to lose, and he was tired of being president, and he had COVID brain, and he couldn't. He was really having a hard time running against the guy he says has is mentally deficient.
It just wasn't going to happen. So Release the Kraken was just my...
The who? TP? The white liberal is the most dangerous person for Black America. Well, then obviously, you have nothing to worry about. I'm not quite sure what I've said that's endangering Black America, but please let me know on their behalf.
Spur of the moment, fly out of the mouth thing saying, I couldn't say we're going to rain holy hell on
the... Why not? Oh, because it wasn't January 6th yet. Sorry, it's a good point.
Or unholy hell. So anyway, it flew out. And then the next thing I know, it's gone viral because apparently the Kraken is a super cyber computer that does all kinds of spy things. And the Kraken is the nickname for one of the big military groups that is part of that. So I don't even know what all the Kraken is, but I just...
It's one of Ray Harryhausen's greatest works, and people know it from Clash of the Titans. That's not why. You borrowed the Release the Kraken, and then it caught on with the Q crowd. The reason it took off is not because of some secret military thing. It's because the Q suck-ups thought that was you aligning with them.
Apparently now it's me.
Q snap.
That's, by the way, that's not flattering, just so you know. It's like I'm gonna release Frankenstein's monster, and apparently that's me now. I mean, people are drawing pictures of me with bolts in my neck. It's adorable.
And I guess that explains why they don't let me out very often.
Who's they? Who's they? You don't. You.
Well, you have better hair than the Kraken. Thank you very much. We are, when things are stolen from you, you want them back. You tend to want them back right away. The election was stolen from us.
And I want it back right away. It was totally... This is not fair, okay, guys? This is so not fair. It's not. Why?
And we want it back.
Some dude going, yeah! You can't have it back. It wasn't stolen. I guess you lost it and somebody else found it. Possession's 9/10 of the law.
There are a lot of rumors, there are a lot of stories. When Sydney and I this is not scripted. There is no...
Really? I would have listening to this, I would have thought you planned this all out and that she thinks through what she's going to say very heavily beforehand. Honest to God. I mean, I know I'm doing my part live, but this is like a well-oiled machine that came with directions that said, do not add oil. We love Harry Anderson.
There's no script here between Sydney and I, and there never is when she's on my show.
Yeah, well, an owner and a parrot don't have to work shit out right before they go outdoors. There's only 9 or 10 words, and you just keep asking until you get the one you want.
Were you ever going to be a military piece of this in the core representing from the military tribunals, any of the people that are involved?
The military tribunals. Sydney, were you ever going to be sent down to Guantanamo to help behead Nancy Pelosi? Tell us. Inquiring minds want to know. What?
In this. Is there any truth to that whatsoever? And don't speak in code. Just tell the truth. Yes.
I don't know any code for starters. And no, I don't know.
Well, that's true in terms of your understanding of how computers work. That is certainly true.
Where that came from, I really don't. It's a widespread rumor. But no, there are no military tribunals going on. There is nobody that's going to magically solve this problem for us. It's going to take every single good-hearted, law-abiding American to roll up their sleeves.
To roll up their sleeves and what? Do in-person, one-on-one tribunals. Yikes.
Sleeves and go to work in your precinct, in your school district, in every part of our lives to reclaim this country.
Excuse me, do you not know? And by the way, I love the positioning of the shot. It makes her look like Lady Liberty. I don't think that was an accident on their part. And
for the American heritage we are supposed to have as envisioned by God and our founders.
Amen. Amen.
Why are you doing the international symbol for strap-on right now?
With regards to President Trump, who is the president, by the way.
No, he isn't. He just for the record, just in case anybody from YouTube's watching, no, he's not. He lost the election soundly, and his microblog failed. Sad.
You know, we heard about the Insurrection Act. We heard of, we heard a lot of things.
Yeah, and can I just cut to the chase and save you a lot of time? It was all bullshit.
I think one of the toughest questions that is out there, the one that people talk about the most with regards to you and things,
is how could I have been so wrong for so long?
You may know, why didn't President Trump do anything?
Yeah, that's a good question. Why didn't he do anything? Why didn't he do anything? That's the big question. Why did he fail so massively? Why did he lose the election and not do anything? Why is he such a weak and pathetic and spineless leader and yet still magically president, according to this guy? What do you mean? Why would he have to do anything if he's still president? What's to be done? I mean, check this out. You can be president and you never have to go to work and you just golf every day and eat from the buffet of your own place while you, I guess, deal with lawsuits that have been bugging you for a while. What? Yeah, why didn't he do anything? I'm looking forward to her answer. Please tell us all, Sydney. Why is he so pathetically incapable of action?
To stop this.
Yeah, but he could have stopped it apparently, and he just didn't. He's like Mike Pence, only worse.
That is one of the hardest questions there is. And
it is. I mean, because he's obviously so capable.
I really don't know the answer. What I can tell you is that he had the power under Executive Order 1348 that he...
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Just for the record, just as a sidebar, if I may, lunacy. But let's hear her continue.
It signed in 2018 that had been renewed each year since then, including as recently as September of 2020. It gave him all the emergency authority that any president has ever had. And
the problem was it wasn't an emergency, it was just a normal election.
And it could have been invoked because it was triggered by foreign interference in the election.
But it was to benefit him, not against him.
There's already an FBI, CISA, the Homeland Security Division that's supposed to secure the vote. They had already done and published a notice, an advisory of foreign interference in the election, updated as of election day. So it didn't even require an additional finding by the FBI.
I mean, it was basically, there was like two buttons on Trump's desk. One said Diet Coke, the other one said invoke the Insurrection Act and have the military take over the whole government. And much to his chagrin, he pushed this button, and I guess the wires were crossed or something, but somebody brought him a Diet Coke, and he was just too embarrassed to push the other one. You know, it's just sad. You know, when you try that, and you know, you're like, where's that button again?
Diet Coke!
Oh, and then the Insurrection Act doesn't have
CISA or anything else to say there was foreign interference. But in addition to that, there was significant, actually massive evidence of foreign interference in the election.
No, there wasn't. I mean, I've been through, she's talking about the same shit that Mike Lindell puts up, and I've been through all of his videos. You guys have been there with me. No, there isn't. And it's, I mean, this is fun, but like, just for the record. The hard part is, and by the way, to the trolls in there saying Trump 2024 in YouTube and the like, yes, please have him run in 2024. I look forward to it. I look forward to his massive loss again.
In terms of hacking and in terms of package travel or packet travel, the cyber...
Yeah, packet, traveling, something, I don't know. Something about Carter Page taking only paper with him from Trump to Russia. I don't know. Package, something.
Guys call it. That was going between Serbia and Germany and the United States.
And Hugo Chavez's coffin and China and, yeah.
Hong Kong and...
Rudy's glory hole.
Any number of other countries were interfering in our election, and it was real.
I don't know. Do we know who... I don't know who actually... how many people attended this thing. It's a small auditorium, but it was full.
Election interference. Mike Lindell has been working on the possibility of evidence showing actual votes being flipped by...
that is the most generous way to describe this bullshit I've ever heard. What was it? Mike Lindell is working on the possibility of showing evidence. He's got like 5 90-minute videos out and one that's 3 hours long, and he's working on the possibility of showing evidence. It's a little late in the game, isn't it?
I count.
Hold on.
Possibility of real election interference.
Listen to this.
Mike Lindell has been working on the possibility of evidence showing actual votes being flipped.
Mike Lindell is working on the possibility of showing evidence of actual votes being flipped. Well, no time like the present.
By county.
By the way, I don't, just for the record, satire.
That is still in the process of being verified.
Yeah, it is. So you don't want to say anything about it until you really have some... I mean, the election just happened 6 months ago, but whatever.
But there is a mountain of evidence of actual foreign interference.
No, there's a molehill of it, and it all would benefit Trump if it turned out to be real. It's just garbage. It's just... But, why are you listening to me? Listen to this woman who's sitting on a stage with a guy who, till moments ago, thought she would be heading up tribunals at Guantanamo, and there was something to this.
In our election, not the least of which was all our votes being sent to Seidel in Germany and Spain to be counted.
You mean foreign press being made aware of the counts at the same time Kornacki was, because the world pays attention to our elections? No.
He had all the tools he needed,
and yet he could not use them. He was like a chimpanzee trying to figure out how to use a turret lathe.
Everybody around him except me, who was...
Thanks for the hosting.
...only allowed in...
By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe and give a thumbs up so that, I at least have somewhere in the ballpark of viewers, likes, and subscriptions and the like that the right-wingers have. Just saying. I know I'm new and they've been doing it for 10 years here, but please.
Really, for several hours the night of December 18th, I think it was, and that was kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing that we put together and...
Really? I would have thought you really worked on it for a couple of days. And you're like, this is going to matter. It's going to be on... everything lasts forever on the internet. I should probably practice.
And got over there and got in to talk to him for a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Everybody else was saying, no, you can't do anything. From the day after the election, everyone around him in the White House was telling him to just pack it up and go home.
But luckily you were there.
Jared and Ivanka, of course, had already gone home by...
Yeah, they're the worst.
Then I think his White House counsel, Pat Cipollone, and Eric Hirschman, who essentially worked for Jared, all the lawyers around him were telling him, there's nothing you can do.
And they were right, by the way. I'm just saying, what they were telling him was actual truth. I know it seems weird.
I vehemently.
What's on her feet? She's got leopard skin zipper boots.
Vehemently
with tassels.
Disagreed with that.
Yes, nod. Thanks. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's just, thank God somebody spoke up.
And I guarantee you, if the same thing had happened when the Democrats were in power, they would have used the law available to them. And I also told...
So you still think Trump's president, you still think he's the greatest ever, and yet you also believe there was this tool available to him that was basically easy. It was as simple as a signature, and it had already been done. All he had to do was say the word, and magically he would stay president, and he just didn't do it. And yet, he's the greatest leader you wish you could ever have. I don't get this at all.
Told them all, it's not about Donald Trump.
No, it isn't. Definitely not. I mean, honestly, not anymore anyways, obviously.
It's about the Republic of the United States of America.
Come on! I have to say, there's like, I kind of enjoy it when she speaks like she's Mr. Roper's wife on Three's Company. She is wearing a Walmart vest with flair. Yeah, she's a greeter at the S&M Walmart. Hi, welcome to Walmart. Whips that way. Chains over there.
We are not a democracy where the mob rules. We are not.
Yeah. This whole bullshit that every vote counts, what is that about?
Not a country where you can buy the election. At least we're not supposed to be.
Well, I mean, obviously... Trump had help.
We are supposed to be the most transparent country in the world. Our government is supposed to be that, and our election.
No, we're not actually. Because anything we as the citizenry can see, our international enemies or people who mean to do us ill worldwide on a criminal level also see. So there's obviously a check on the amount of information that you put out. We try to live as close to that as possible. But we're not just going to let you rifle through voting machines and then go, yeah, we should be able to use those next time. Hal's still waiting on you doing that White House meeting as a play with sexy liberal. Oh, yes.
Are supposed to be that.
I would love that. I'm going to, if we do a live sexy liberal soon, what I want to do is I want to bring along the transcripts and give everybody a part. And I want Steph to play Sidney Powell. And I want to play Pat Cipollone so I can just tell John and Steph to go fuck themselves on stage. It's a joke.
That is why a federal
he literally
statute
in that video, like if you listen to the transcript, he just flips out.
Requires votes, ballots, all voting material to be kept for 22 months after a vote of any kind, so that it can be reviewed, it can be audited, it can be inspected, so that we the people can have the ultimate.
Yeah, and it's weird that it disappeared everywhere that Trump won, and it looked like he was losing in the first, like Antrim County. And it's weird. It's kind of interesting. And it's a Trump country, county. So Trump, supporters run the county, and therefore just kind of those things disappear. That's weird.
The ultimate confidence in the validity of our elections, and that our citizens' one vote counts as one vote.
Yes, that's how it works.
Completely lost that in this election. They took the two worst candidates in the history of the
Oh, nice. Welcome, new patron. Thank you. Thank you.
Democratic Party, a demented old pervert who can't even tie his shoes.
That's adorable. You do realize the guy that you think the sun shines out of his ass, that Trump has 27 credible sexual assault claims against him, including a 13-year-old girl. That doesn't bother you? That just doesn't come up. It just doesn't. I mean, I could almost understand this woman thinking that Donald Trump was the delivery system to get Mike Pence to be president so that, we'd have a Jesus-y human in the White House, right? I can buy that. I honestly. But, like... This is, obviously this is an applause line, so.
and heels up Harris, who could not.
His what? Wait, his what? Hold on. That part, I...
Harris, who could not. And heels up Harris, who could not.
what?
Who couldn't even win a primary in her own state.
Oh, yeah. And his VIP Harris, I see.
And they shoved them up our noses with a fork of fraud so blatant it has been seen around the world.
A fork of fraud so blatant it could be seen around the world. What? Yeah, heels up Harris.
That is how evil, that is how powerful, that is how widespread the problem is. We all knew it was bad, but for it to be as bad as to accomplish what we just witnessed is terrifying.
Yes, it so is. Oh my God, I'm so glad I paid $500 to have y'all sit there on 2 high stools with no table, oddly, and just kind of like tell me what I already know.
And it is a huge wake-up call for anyone who cares about the United States of America and wants to protect the liberty.
Apparently, it's a huge wake-up call for true patriots, except Trump, who apparently hit the snooze bar on his huge wake-up call.
That we have
many times
enjoyed, that we want our grandchildren to have. The very future of this country depends on every one of you getting involved and getting everyone you know involved.
Whether get in there, go run for office, even though we don't believe the elections work or whatever. Like, try though. Try harder. Try to make yourself emotionally ready for a long and arduous campaign that you're probably going to lose anyways because the fix is in. Good Lord.
Whether it's to go to the school board and demand that there be no masks on our children, or holding elected officials accountable at every step. I mean, people are going to have to...
That would be exhausting. Holding elected officials accountable at every step. You're just going to follow them around like you're Marjorie Taylor Greene bugging David Hogg, just to like, excuse me, where are you going? Excuse me, do you think that's the best way? Do you really want to get a drink of water right now? Is that the best use of taxpayer funds? Every step. Be there every step.
Bird dog your city council, bird dog your county commissioners. You'll see what difference it makes if you get together a group of...
I think she means sheepdog. Bird dogging them would, I guess, be watching them, but sheepdogging them is bark them back in line.
10 or 15 people, and you go sit in every city council meeting and start speaking up and calling bull feathers when you see it. It's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, it's totally working right now. It's amazing. Yeah. Go yell bull feathers everywhere.
It will.
Yeah. How about sheepdogging Matt Gaetz? Thank you, chat room. Good point. Is anybody following that dude around and making sure he doesn't step off the res?
Yeah.
Somebody yelled Michael Flynn, I
think I did that when I fought for General Flynn. Yeah, that was a whole nother story. Yeah.
Oh my God, lordy.
You have a lot of insight into the deep state because you witnessed it. You've been fighting it. General Flynn obviously does.
No, he doesn't. He's calling for the murder of his fellow Americans because he lost an election. Much like essentially all of Trump's followers. I mean, there is no version right now. I mean, I don't get the support for Trump if you believe what Sidney Powell says.
Does President Trump? It would seem when we have a president of the United States. Now, I love President Trump. I think he was the best president we've ever had. He is currently.
Well, yeah, of course. That's why you're sitting on a high stool with no table in an auditorium full of sycophants arguing that Sidney Powell, a woman he fired from his legal team, would somehow be heading tribunals to murder American citizens who you think are guilty of fantasy crimes. Of course you think that.
probably the best president.
Imagine what he could have accomplished had he not had his hands tied behind his back. And
his hands tied behind his back? That's what it is. Honestly, it's if only, it wasn't. And granted, his hands were tied behind his back with apparently a tiny ribbon. Ken is saying, I have a question. Do you think a majority of Republicans actually believe this insanity, or are they purposely lying and misleading Americans for personal gain, knowing the damage is caused? Well, these folks are I would argue, are true believers, and that's why they're so disappointed. But but in terms of McConnell and those guys, they're just worrying about not driving away the only hardcore members of their base during the next election season. I am a big believer, by the way, and in the idea that all of the election bills we're seeing, while they will have the result of disenfranchising a good number of Democratic voters and especially people of color, and that's part of the goal. The overarching goal, the really big goal, is because a lot of Republicans who voted for Trump are checking out of the elections, aren't going to vote. And they know this from poll after poll after poll. So 2022 and 2024 could be a bloodbath because Sidney Powell is going around the country with Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene picking up the slack, telling large groups of Republican voters that you can't trust the election, it was all a fraud. So how are you going to get them to show up at the voting booth next time if they think somehow the fix is in? And what are they going to be talking about between now and the next election, except for it was all bullshit and everybody's already they just stole the election and they're going to steal it again. And so what kind of a get out the vote campaign do you have if people are already totally, disenchanted at best and think it was an absolute theft at worst, right? How do you get those people up off their couch to go vote again? You know what I mean? Like that. And so all these bills that they're putting forward, whether or not they actually get passed, ultimately they're not going to affect Democratic voters. They really aren't, because the Democratic Party is well organized, and over this next little bit, whatever the rules they set up, they will make sure that anybody who might have been disenfranchised by what's going on will have the support of a larger 50-state strategy in the Democratic Party around that. They're already working on that. That's what Stacey Abrams is working on everywhere, making sure that if they do pass voter ID, that all the Democrats in the area have voter ID. There'll be this huge strategy over the next 2 years, making sure that they meet whatever ridiculous standards the Republicans in those parties set up, in those states set up. The problem that the Republicans have is that there are a shit ton of Republicans who aren't going to meet those standards and who aren't going to show up. Oh, it froze again? It did? Because I see it everywhere. Oh, I think that's might be a Facebook thing, because it's fine on my other sites. It's fine on YouTube. Is it? Oh, it might. Facebook might actually be freezing me on purpose because they're hearing. Yeah. I think Facebook is actually listening to what I'm playing and hamstringing it. That's weird. Okay.
With the Russia hoax, the obstruction hoax, the apocalypse hoax, the collusion.
The apocalypse hoax?
Hoax. I've never seen so many hoaxes that they talked about the entire term of his presidency.
Yeah. You mean like saying somebody shouldn't be president because they're not actually an American citizen? They talked about that all during Obama's presidency. Trump did it himself. Were Obama's hands tied behind his back because of all the things they talked about? Trump is the kind of person that if people shit talk him or run him down, his hands are tied. The Republicans would do anything he put in front of them. Any bill he asked for, they would pass through.
And if we talk about election fraud now, it's supposed to be shut down. That's absolutely absurd. If you go back, I want everybody to watch the documentary Kill Chain. It's an HBO documentary that came out in March 2020, and it's about the voting machines. And it's the Democrats talking about how easily this fraud could be perpetrated with the voting machines. I mean,
which ones? You mean the ES&S ones that were used in Ohio, Florida, and Texas? Those? Or, I'm sorry, yeah.
Everything but write down for us and stick in our faces what they were going to do to steal this election, and yet we're not supposed to talk about it now. Hogwash.
You tell them. Hogwash. Is that what is that the soap Trump uses?
Arizona. What comes to
Arizona? Give him the update. Tell him come on, Sydney. You're bumming him out. You know what I mean? You got him thinking about the snack tray in the green room. This is you got to lift his spirits. What's gonna happen?
Comes to mind when you hear Arizona with regards to the audit?
Well, I think it's going to find evidence of 400,000 to 500,000 fraudulent votes for Biden.
Do you?
Maricopa County was the focus of the biggest fraud in Arizona, and the audit is still proceeding. They are.
Yeah, again, this goes along the Rudy Giuliani idea that if you if there was a there, they literally screwed it up. Yeah, in New Mexico, Democrats just won the House seat by 60%.
We're finding a number of different things. I don't know how much. Well, there really isn't that much that's been released publicly yet, and I don't have any.
Yeah, they're keeping those cards close to the vest. Sure. Thanks for getting a Motang. Sure.
Knowledge, but my understanding is that they are definitely finding things, and it's going to be very important for us to get that evidence, and also for other states to take the same steps. There should be enough evidence of fraud in Maricopa for the legislature to be forced.
It's the same shit every time.
To decertify the electors.
Right.
Yeah, yes, totally, bro. Yeah, I don't think he's convinced. He seems a little demoralized. I don't know that this guy. Yeah, let me get this straight. Sleepy Joe slurs and can't speak clearly. Yeah, stole 400,000 votes, even though he was behind. I mean, I don't. And Trump is the greatest leader ever, and he could have just stayed president if he'd have just said the right thing, but he's such a weak person. He just couldn't be the strong leader that he did, and he had total control of the House and Senate, and yet he couldn't get anything done that he was in, but he also kept all of his promises. I don't get it.
We also know there are 400,000 ballots in Georgia.
Oh, it's the same number everywhere? Gee, it's almost like that's the magic number you've come up with in your head for you to change the popular vote. If we just had 400,000 more votes in each of these 10 states, that would give us the extra 4 million votes to, yeah.
That they could not establish a lawful chain of custody for. And of course, we have the video in Georgia of Ruby Freeman shoving the same pristine, unfolded ballots through the same machine multiple times. And oh, by the way, there just happened to be a corresponding spike of over 100,000 votes for Biden during that time.
Yeah, it couldn't possibly be that in the city with the most African-American people in there, going by precinct, that a precinct that is like 85% black, and people who live in and amongst that 85% black group of people, that when you started pulling in batches of ballots from those areas, magically there wasn't 30,000 Trump votes hidden in that 100,000. It's almost like entire neighborhoods based on color tended to lean one way. That's weird. But then again, we're not a republic. Mob rules, right?
But no, there's no evidence of any fraud. No.
There isn't. I mean, there's some, obviously. There's, the dude who murdered his wife and then used her ballot to vote for Trump. That's actually, there are charges filed about that one. By the way, of all the voters that murdered their spouse and used their dead spouse's ballot to vote, Trump won 100% of that coveted voting block.
No. Yeah, absolutely red-handed. Yes. I mean, if we had a Department of Justice, even under the Trump administration, before it transferred, there would have been a grand jury, and Ruby Freeman would have been in the grand jury testifying under oath about what was going on in the center in Atlanta that
no God, no peace.
That night, because
no,
it was obvious.
Oh, I see. No God, no peace. No KNOW God, no KNOW peace. So that's what the top patch says. And then she's got an American flag and a South Carolina patch on her jacket, right there, on her vest.
To anyone that they had made up
no God, no peace. No God, no peace. And yet every word out of her mouth is that the whole world is a lie, that America's gone to shit, that Trump should still be president, even though he's a feckless weakling, and Biden is, obviously a massive criminal and also can't walk.
A lie to get people out of the building, the observers out of the building. They pulled the ballots out from suitcases underneath a table.
We watched that video. We debunked that video. Everybody has. You can't be. I mean, obviously, you got an audience of people who want to believe that's true. But I feel like I'm watching a video from November 7th.
And we need those ballots.
Like, you can't. I don't mind you sell shit that is relatively new. Even the Mike Lindell stuff that he supposedly discovered after January 9th and that stuff. Like, if you were going all in on that stuff, but the stuff that's been so obviously and easily debunked many times, it's embarrassing.
Ballots, those are counterfeit ballots, and the judge has ordered over 100,000 of them to be reviewed. The Democrats have thrown.
And I look forward to the review. I can't wait.
The kitchen sink.
I'm sure they'll find plenty of bamboo shards in them.
At everybody trying to get to the truth. Over 100 lawyers have been funded by
Hype Train.
The Democrats in various ways to obstruct every audit they can possibly obstruct, to fight our organization, defendingtherepublic.org. We had originally.
I see. That's why you're there, raising money. This is a fundraiser. I had in a moment, I had forgotten.
Originally filed 4 cases. 3 of them wound up on the Supreme Court docket. Another one of them should have been there, but a glitch happened and it didn't make it.
It was a glitch. Yeah, maybe you misspelled the address.
But we're the only group that had 3 cases pending on the Supreme Court docket, which the court.
And then what happened to them? You represented the president. You had 3 cases pending with the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is in conservative hands right now. What happened?
Itself rendered moot by refusing to address them on the emergency basis we filed them under. And then after January 6th, of course, they had been mooted by the court's own inaction. And we represented electors. We represented people who have a constitutional right to challenge the results of the election. They're named.
No, they don't. They don't. You're basically, you're a courier as an elector. I mean, all this, like, we're really a republic because landowners have more power than individual voters, and the electors are really people who go, look, I know y'all voted because you're against slavery, but as your duly designated representative, I'm thinking over your vote again. That's what that is.
Named in the Constitution, so they couldn't. Although the district court said, no standing, and all these other talking points that the Democrats had put out. The court could not have said that our.
Yeah, you didn't have standing. Oh, thank you. Love you back.
People had no standing. They just couldn't. So they let them just sit there and wither up until they were moot.
Who did? Oh, Trump did, because he did nothing, and he could have, but I guess, I don't know. Or the conservative court, beg your pardon. Go ahead.
All right, well, let's talk about the Supreme Court.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously overrun with liberals right now, total socialists. I mean, isn't it basically the communist Supreme Court of America?
Many people are discouraged and let down, angry with the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I mean, I would be if I were you.
Is it a Supreme Court issue, or should this be a state? Is it not a state issue? The election, is there hope for resolution within the states?
No, individual states cannot sue to overturn a federal election. Pick your governor by throwing darts at a dried pile of cow shit if you want. Oh, thank you
We
for
need
pledging.
both.
Thanks, Kenna, for joining Patreon.
We need
Patreon.com/HouseSparks.
both. The states, of course, have the authority to decide how the voting is going to be handled in each state within certain parameters. But
Sorry, within certain parameters. Would one of those parameters be that the electors, if they don't like how it went, could shit can the whole election? I'm just saying, is shit can actually in the Constitution?
But there is a body of federal law that dictates certain things with respect to federal elections, and that obviously includes the most important presidency of the most important country in the entire world.
America. She's talking about America. I'm just going by the flag on her vest.
Because all the free world looks to the United States of America.
Yeah, it's almost like the upticks in servers in media centers all over the globe on America's election night and the ensuing 2 days afterwards, and quite frankly, the 4 days until it was actually decided for Joe Biden, there was a lot more processing going on as they released more stories and were following it very closely, and as they were getting updates from us. But
the fraud that we just witnessed not only changed the course of history of the United States, it changed world history. And that's why they did it.
Like a Mandela effect thing? Like, is Fruit Loops going to be spelled with 2 O's?
There is a massive group of global political elites that
are deep stating, please say George Soros, please super Jew us. Come on, bring it.
Thrive on the power and corruption with which they have infected every country they've touched. About 4 years ago, I took 6 months.
When did they do this?
And traveled around the world to places I never wanted to go. And I did it to see what was going on out there.
Yeah, where'd you go? Let me guess. Non-white countries.
First thing that shocked me was that China and Cuba had invested in every container port around the world they could find. They're invested in South America, in Africa, in India. They had gone into these small countries, anybody that had access to the sea. They had built a container port and they had built enough infrastructure to get into the country.
Well, yeah, of course. How are they supposed to get all the ballots in except on giant evergreen barges? There's like 86,000 tons of ballots on the evergreen one. It was stuck in the Suez Canal, and that's how we know that the election was stolen. Satire button. Where's the satire button? I have to push the satire button 1 second. It's so confusing for everyone. I have to admit, there we go. Yeah, go back here and see if that'll work. I don't know if that reload. I guess I have to reload the page. Is that what happened? Hold on. Then I come back to my own page because that's what was hanging it up. There we go.
To rape those countries of their natural resources. That is exactly what they have been doing for at least 5 years.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it, but the Cuban ballot trees are completely stripped. They're down to the bark.
Probably much longer than that. And I had no idea that was going on.
No.
I just really didn't. Certainly not to the magnitude that it is. But it was all around the world. I went to 120 different ports.
And you saw, let me guess, and you went to third world countries and countries where people were buying a lot of cheap goods. Oh, thank you, Kenna, for becoming a Patreon supporter. I think it said that twice, but that's good.
And they had a role absolutely everywhere. I mean, if it weren't for the United States of America and our liberty and freedom, Australia would have already been taken over by the Chinese. I happened to go through the Panama Canal.
I just know that from watching the Sky News, where they talk about how, even though our network is owned by Rupert Murdoch, and we talk incessantly about what's going on in the United States, the truth is we really care about Australia and what's going on down here, and that's why it's very important that you know that Donald Trump is amazing and Joe Biden can't walk steps.
Same day that the first Panamax freighter went through the new Panama Canal channel. That Panamax freighter is built by China, and it is beyond massive. You can't even imagine how big that thing is and how many containers.
Yeah, I can. We all watched the Evergreen get stuck.
It carries. They have planned for the long term. They do intend to dominate the world. They are willing to do anything to do it, as we saw from the Chinese virus.
So we're just going all in on the xenophobia right now. That's what this is. This is just like they're the, you know, if Trump's whole thing was Russia, 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 her thing is China, China, China. Is that what's happening?
I'm sure they are planning more of that.
I'm sure they would love for that to happen. Ain't gonna happen. Their population's down. Their buildings are falling apart. One of the biggest towers in Shenzhen keeps vibrating and they can't figure out why. And because of COVID, they've lost a huge chunk of their industrial base as everybody moves someplace else to avoid the next pandemic, because they don't trust, after swine flu, they don't trust China to not be able to contain these kind of things. So more and more of the things you're buying are going to show, well, made in Taiwan, made in the Czech Republic, made in, you know, in Bosnia, made in Hong Kong at best, but made in Vietnam. And, you know, it's...
The fact that the United States invests a single dime through anyone in the lab at Wuhan, I find beyond appalling and actually criminal.
You tell them, sister. Psst. Granted that money was there to, you know, make sure that while they are developing things, that stuff doesn't get out that would spread all over the world. But don't give them any money. Let them run it however they want. The oversight that goes with that money is highly overrated.
Our government has completely forgotten that it is supposed to work for us. We have an entrenched political class that is busy lining its own pockets with the...
Yes, but tell them about the deep state, Republican, everybody, busybody, bad people. Tell them about that. Don't forget.
Wealth that can buy, beg, borrow, steal, whatever, from people that are in the system that are part of the problem. We have to clean it all out some way and take it back.
Some way? Some way. I mean, I would say organize, come up with policies that actually work for all Americans and not just in, you know, a select few, like America's a gated community. And then maybe you might be able to run on some of your ideas later, except, I'm kidding, you're a fucking lunatic.
For the people of the United States.
Okay, I feel bad for the dude. He's heard a lot of the blather, and it's not going anywhere. Please help.
All right, Sydney, let's give the audience and
oh, the audience questions. There's going to be audience questions. Good Lord.
Us a chance to dream a little bit together. What?
Yeah, let's do this. Let's not talk about reality. Let's fantasize a little bit more about Trump being magic president, king, emperor, nude guy.
Let's assume that Arizona flips.
Yeah, let's just assume that. Yeah, I'm with you.
And that creates a domino effect in the battleground
thank
states,
you, Robert.
Michigan, Georgia, Wisconsin, and others flip. Let's just allow ourselves to dream for a moment. Trump is then announced the winner.
Yeah, that's okay. That's how it'll go. Okay, then what?
We already know that he is, but he's announced the winner. What happens? I mean,
yeah, what's next? I mean, is he even going to leave Mar-a-Lago? I mean, that omelet bar is fucking sweet.
Is he credited time lost? We're in uncharted territory.
Yeah, we're definitely in uncharted territory. There are cases where elections have been overturned.
This is the clip everybody's seen. This is the little piece.
But there's never been one at the presidential level, which
why is that? That's weird.
Everybody will jump to point out. That doesn't mean that it can't be done, though. There's always a first case, and as far as I know,
oh, totally, yeah. I mean, any day now, and if for anyone, it's going to be for Trump.
This is the first case of abject fraud and obtaining a coup of the United States of America. So it's going.
She's feeling the need for another applause line, and it isn't coming, if you'll notice. And it's probably the way he set his question up that it bummed everybody out, and they know they're in ridiculous waters with this, and so she's trying to coup like that, and they're supposed to go, yeah, you bet it was a coup, and they're not.
Going to have to be dealt with. It should be that he can simply be reinstated, that a new inauguration date is set.
Yeah, no, it's not. It doesn't work that way. Biden's already sworn in. It's over. Sorry. It doesn't, I mean, there's no reason to overturn it, but even if there was, that's not how it works. You can run again in 4 years. That's in 3.5.
And Biden is told to move out of the White House, and and President Trump should be moved back in. I'm sure there's not going to be credit for time lost, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because the Constitution.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, on their way out, the Bidens will clearly, you know, reset the Rose Garden just to make Melania's weekend really tough coming back.
Itself sets the date for inauguration, but he should definitely get the remainder of his term and make the best of it. That's for sure.
Well, he will get a term, a prison term, maybe. Maybe that's the next term he's actually looking forward to.
So, okay, in my mind, that begs a question. I want Trump to have 4 years. I mean, we were ripped off. When something is stolen, you want it back. So, no remedy.
What about those 3 months?
Think of under the state of the laws.
Unless he runs again in 2024.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless he runs again.
Right.
But if we don't fix this right now, people, there won't be a 2024.
Right.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, America's going to be closed in 24. Right. That'll do it. By the way, they were saying the same thing in 2008 when Obama won.
If we have any rule of law left in this country, he needs to be...
He'll be in prison?
Reinstalled as president this year.
Reinstalled. It's very Saddam Hussein sounding.
Who are, and I'm going to ask you to name names, and again, we've not rehearsed this. Obviously, she's a big girl and not going to answer. If she doesn't want to answer, she doesn't have to. Who are the names that are involved in the theft of this election on the...
Yeah, tell on who?
On the, as I call them, the commu-socialist side.
Yeah, the that's a good term. Commu-socialists. Thank you, Crystal. Oh, for becoming a yearly Patreon. Thank you so much. Bless you.
The commu-socialist side.
There are no more Democrats in my...
Right.
No, definitely not. I mean, I am one, and I voted for Biden, and he beat Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, who you guys thought were like the next coming of Chavez, and he's acting, even in spite of the Republicans' intransigence, he's at least going through the motions of bipartisanship to try and get them on board and stuff. But sorry, commu-socialist, right? Go ahead.
Especially in the elected class. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, the union voters, you don't want to shit on them too much.
I think it's a very large group of people.
Yeah, it'd have to be.
I don't have what I would call direct evidence of.
Really? When did that ever stop you from talking before?
Any one or more particular persons being involved, other than the usual suspects. I mean, we know that George Soros is funding.
Well, there you have it. That's it. That was it. I was waiting when you got to it. We gotta like put this, everybody who has Super Jew on their bingo card. Don't forget to hit stamp that square out. Now a lot of them, it's very worn in by this time. George Soros. Oh boy, Hungarian citizen. Yeah.
A lot of the organizations that have been part of the problem.
She means Black Lives Matter.
We know that a particular union.
The Bear Jew. Right.
The name of which escapes me, was involved in some of the counterfeit ballot transportation.
Yeah, I mean, does it really matter if you have their real name? I mean, just make one up.
There are a wide number of people involved. Many of them are in the 6 key cities where the vast majority of the
Black people live.
Ballot fraud occurred.
Yeah, it kind of rhymes.
And then, well, first of all, we have to realize there were multiple means of fraud employed here.
Well, sure. I mean, you couldn't do it with just one, obviously.
There was the algorithm in the machines that shaved votes from Trump and gave them to Biden.
Right. That didn't actually happen, and where there's a possibility for that to happen, the actual polling and the way the votes went, it looks more like that happened to Trump's benefit. But I have as much evidence of that as you have evidence of this. The only difference is that I jokingly say it and talk about it, but you don't. So, what?
There were votes that were flipped by computer.
From Biden to Trump in Antrim County when he was actually winning, and it wasn't.
Hacking, we believe. We have
you believe it. I mean, do you need anything more? I mean, it's just hacking.
Evidence of that. There are votes that were changed through the adjudication process
and I do mean adjudication.
Various election machine companies have built into their software and system. That allows an individual to look at a vote for whatever reason and decide how you intended to vote. Needless.
You mean the leftover crap in red states from them throwing the election to Bush the first time?
To say that is fraught with problems, particularly when the machine is geared to kick out anything done with a Sharpie that was deliberately used in
a Sharpie?
Multiple places. People were given that as the only means to mark their ballot. I think.
Yeah, the Sharpie gate isn't what you thought it was.
All those, we'll find out, went into an adjudication file, and that's hundreds of thousands of ballots. And then with the one click of the computer, that entire adjudication file can be assigned to Joe Biden.
The entire adjudication file, George Soros can just with a click of a pen in some town in Germany.
So that was another one of the means of the fraud. They thought the algorithm was going to take care of it. That's what they ran. I'm sure we're going to find that out also in 2016, which is the only reason Hillary won the popular vote.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but
we all know she was not that popular.
No. Trump was always way more popular, and even better now.
Anywhere. But yes, that's the only reason that she won the popular vote then, was because of the algorithm. This time, they did not plan on the turnout of Trump.
This is, by the way, everything that Sidney Powell is saying, she's been saying all along, and this is the stuff that you hear Trump parrot all the time. And even though he kicked her to the curb from his legal team, he has repeatedly, and including right after this thing aired, or whenever, because he watched this from Mar-a-Lago in bed, would have been live tweeting it if he absolutely could. And he used the phrase, that he believes he's going to be reinstated in August. That's a combo of what Mike Lindell has said about August and what she said using the word reinstated. He's literally quoting her. It's not like they had the same idea at the same time.
Supporters that turned out.
I'm so glad they're cutting back and forth and making this visually interesting.
And the key was that you all turned out on election day.
That's right.
That was the key. And I and others were telling people to do that, to go in person on election.
Yeah, Trump was even telling people to vote twice. Go early and vote, and then if you don't trust it, go in person. And so all these people were turned around. Somebody already voted. Oh, I don't know anything. And then they run off, and they're like, someone voted in my place. I think my vote was stolen. You voted in your place.
Day and vote. Thank God you all listened all around the country, because it broke the algorithm.
No, it didn't. And algorithms don't break.
That's what made them all stop counting the votes in the wee hours of the morning.
No, it was the Republicans setting rules that you couldn't start counting the mail-in ballots and the absentee ballots until the next morning or after midnight or whatever the rule was. So they were stopping for a couple of hours at a time, and you guys are pretending that because there's a difference in time zones that suddenly they magically stopped counting in all these places, which they did not.
That's what triggered the need to bring in the fake ballots and backfill them into the machines. That is what exposed their whole scheme.
This is the same thing Lindell says. This is the thank God it happened this way, right? Wow. Honestly, that is the run of it. Just
What? Wow.
So amazing.
So thank you all.
Wow.
For doing it.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And then they thought they could shut us all up.
What?
They thought they would be dealing only with election law lawyers and only with traditional election challenges.
Wow.
I don't think they realized that some of us...
They didn't realize they were dealing with such fine, keen, intellectual, legal minds that would, of course, misspell multiple words in just the title of their legal filings about the legal battle for the presidency of the United States of America.
Some of us litigators...
I'm just saying, it's kind of the most important lawsuit you could file, and therefore maybe spell check would have helped. Maybe just that. Maybe it would have shown a certain amount of diligence on your part that wouldn't make the rest of your crackpot bullshit seem like it was fart air from Trump's magic fantasy balloon.
Were going to catch on and hold their feet to the fire and expose what really happened, or that they could...
but you're going to need more coffee, Bicycle Mike, because holy hell.
Shut us up by, say, suing me for $4.3 billion in 3 different states and things like that. They sent out, I don't know how many hundreds of cease and desist letters, even to people who retweeted a tweet about Dominion voting systems.
Yeah, they didn't. These were major players. They didn't send them to just randos. They sent them to people who were legally representing the President of the United States and then were fired from that position and continued to espouse this stuff. So it gave them the illusion of credibility within this entire argument. And so the company was like, well, if this person who was the president's lawyer is saying this could be detrimental. If some rando, nobody gave a shit if this dude tweeted something. This guy didn't get, I guarantee he retweeted or Facebook post everything that Sidney Powell posted for as long as he could. And he didn't get a $1.3 billion. And he's got a podcast big enough to get him on stage with Sidney Powell interviewing her at this ridiculous gab fest.
And the effort to shut down any discourse about what happened in this election has been extraordinary and unprecedented and wouldn't have been tolerated in other circumstances.
Well, yeah, but I mean, in other circumstances, you wouldn't be in a democracy with the protections that we have. And therefore, if you pulled this stuff in Russia, I guess Putin would have pushed you out a window, I guess. You can always, try it. I wouldn't recommend it considering what's happening to Alexei Navalny right now.
But boy, they have piled it on here. It doesn't work. Threatening me is like waving a red flag in a bull's face.
No, it isn't. You haven't filed a countersuit. You're gonna lose. And I'm sorry. I might not, I haven't been to a rodeo in a long time, and really most of what I know about rodeos I learned from Stir Crazy, which is kind of appropriate considering who we're talking about. But if you wave, and somebody might know this, Amy, and you know a lot more about bulls and cows than most of us in here. If you wave a red flag in a cow's face, does his lawyer file a motion with the court that your flag should never be taken, that the bull should not be taken seriously as a bull? Does he, that even though he says he's a bull, he's not really a bull? Is that something along those lines? Is that how they respond? Cows are colorblind. It's an excellent point.
They also sued our nonprofit defendingtherepublic.org. And so Defending the Republic is defending itself. I am defending myself. And if the judge...
Well, yeah, I mean, you're going to have to.
...just don't grant our motions to dismiss on...
They're not going to, by the way. Oh, did that freeze up? What happened there?
...over us, and number two, meant what we said, and we have the evidence to back it up. They can't prove an essential element of their claim, one or more. So the cases should definitely be dismissed, but if they're not...
No, they're not going to be dismissed.
...then we will get discovery against Dominion, and we will be on offense.
No, you won't. You won't. Unless you have the information. You can't slander someone with alleged information about them unless you have said information. You can't go on a fishing expedition. You cannot call someone a slut in public, you know, like, let's just say 1-to-1. We'll use that example. And then when you are sued for slander, sue to see their phone, their dating apps, and their medical records to see if they are indeed, by your standards, a slut. You have to have a foreknowledge of that actual behavior and can hold that up in court and defend that. Simply saying it, you don't get to use the fact that somebody's suing you for slander to go on a fishing expedition in their life. It does not work that way. It will never work that way. Do you understand how the entire function of our legal system on a civil level would fall apart if that were a possibility?
And we will just find out even more.
No, you won't. You will not. If you don't know what you say you know, you're gonna lose the lawsuit. If you can't prove what you said, it doesn't matter what the other person's going. I mean, I don't believe there's anything to it. But can you imagine a circumstance where somebody says something horrible and hateful about you? You sue them for slander, and then they get to, on discovery, see what you say in your private conversations to try and find something to justify what they said about you without knowledge of your private conversations. They say, in private, you say things like this. And you go, that's not true. And everybody around you goes, that's not true. And they go, well, I'd like to see all of your text messages for the last 5 years. Now, when they look through them, they don't find that you said anything like that. Their suit, they may lose their lawsuit, but they have all of your text messages for 5 years just because the judge gives them discovery. It's not going to happen. It's just ridiculous.
So they might consider what they asked for. They might be like the St. Bernard that lusted after the Volkswagen. Once they get it, they're not going to know what to do with it.
The St. Bernard that went after the Volkswagen? You mean the dogs that chases cars and wouldn't know what to do if he caught it?
You and then, it's amazing that there is a man in this country who has built his career and his livelihood making sheets and pillows, who has done more work than the federal government, and not that we would expect the federal government to do a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just the government of the United States of America. That shithole country you talk down to. Why do you even, if the federal government sucks, why do you have an American flag up behind you? If none of it works, if you don't believe in any of it, what the fuck is it the cowboy hat? I mean, you're in Texas. It's just a secessionist state.
But I do want to give a shout out to Mike Lindell and the work that
he's done. Do you always touch yourself on your genitals and then do a one cheek sneak every time you say Mike Lindell? I haven't been keeping track. Just saying.
closely do you and Mike work together on this?
We talk often.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Gee, you think?
I can't really say more than that.
Okay.
No, because both of you are in trouble with Dominion and you'll get sued because it'll be a coordinated effort. Is that why?
You can say it. We love her too. I heard that. Yes, we love her too. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think we should open it up. Are you okay with that?
Sure.
Oh my God, you were supposed to do this 10 minutes ago.
John, would you like to ask Sydney a few questions? I'll tell you how we'll do this.
You can just log on to our Q Reddit.
We have a few minutes, and there should be members of the staff with wireless microphones going through the crowd. So if you would...
yeah, but those things can be hacked. How do I even know these are real questions from people? I mean, somebody could be broadcasting this from across the street.
I will attempt to see you, but raise your...
the light up here so big.
Yeah, and then come up here, make your way up if you can. And there should be people with a microphone to hand it to. We'll do one at a time. There we go. Yes, sir. Just your name and where you're from.
Stephen Powell from Daytona Beach, Florida.
Okay.
So,
Florida man.
Consider, hypothetically, there was an open position for Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Would you have any interest?
I think I could probably better serve somewhere else, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. What if, I don't know, if there was a way, thanks for the sweet indigo, what if there was a way that you, just by falling down a flight of stairs, could win a gold medal? Would you take it? As somebody yelled, president. Yes, Sidney Powell, please run for president. Please do that. Please run in 2024 against Trump, who couldn't even figure out how the Insurrection Act works. Please, and then offer yourself up as his VP.
It would be a hard... If the right president asked, it would be hard not to say yes.
Yeah, I mean, if the right president did, and we mean right. Yeah, if Mike Lindell ran and won.
That would be a confirmation hearing I would love to see.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Put that on pay-per-view, we could eliminate the national debt.
Yes, okay, right over here. Yes, sir. Name and where you're from.
Hey, my name is Cameron. I'm from Huntington Beach, California, Orange County.
All right.
And first off, Sydney, we want to thank you for falling on the sword with this frivolous lawsuit and all of your fight that you put up for us.
Yeah, thanks for falling on the sword, Sydney.
We, the people, we just wanted to say thank you for everything you've done for us.
Thank you.
And secondly...
Now that I'm done at kissing your ass, tell me how, tell us all again how Trump's going to magically be president. And if you can't, I'm going to be very upset.
I believe you already asked this, you already answered this question, but the question was, during this Dominion lawsuit against you, will this be a great place to inject evidence through discovery? And secondly, will it be biblical?
Will it be, the question was, will this be a good place to, quote, inject evidence, and will it be biblical? On the one hand, will they be able to inject evidence? No, they have none. They will be able to inject their opinions about what they think they know and try to skate on that. And she'll go, why would anybody take me seriously? The president fired me as his attorney. And what I'm saying, I don't have to back it up because I'm talking out of my ass and it's what I do for a living and I do it to raise money. And so there is no evidence to be injected. And the only way it would be biblical is the parts of the Bible that are absolute myth.
It will be a great place to get more evidence if the judge doesn't go ahead and dismiss them. But I think if they follow,
they're not going to just dismiss them.
The law again, and this has become a big if nationwide. If the courts follow the law in those suits, they're going to have to dismiss them. But if they don't,
no, they're not.
Then yes, we will be seeking discovery, and that should be biblical.
Yeah, you won't get it for the reason I stated before. Slander is based on the information you have, not the information you could get if you went after the other person. You know nothing about someone, but you do know that calling them a racist, for example, would get them fired. So you call them a racist. You have no evidence that they're a racist, but you've said it multiple times. You keep saying it on television. You do it over and over and over again. And then the person sues you for slander, and you want their taxes and all their business records and their correspondence with their wife and their doctor and all this stuff to go on a fishing expedition for if they're racist. That proves your point. Information you did not have before, you would have no access to if they did say it. They don't say it. You don't find anything, but you have access to all their personal information because the court would give it to you because you've asserted something you have no knowledge of? Are you fucking kidding me?
We're going to go back and forth here and then over here. Yep.
Hi, I'm Nadine Falbo from Joshua Tree, California. And
Hi, Nadine Falbo from Joshua Tree, California.
I want to thank you, General Flynn and Lynn Wood, for everything you're doing for this country. Mike Lindell, it's amazing. And
Mike Lindell, Lynn Wood, Sidney Powell, just total patriots that, of course, believe that Americans should take up arms against other Americans and kill them. What?
I'll make it without.
You know, for patriotism, you know.
My question is this. I know about your meeting in the White House, and I know you were told you were special counsel. What I don't understand is when everybody started, the inside people started taking you out, why didn't Trump stay firm?
Sydney, when all of the people who were actually working with Trump kicked you out, kicked you to the curb and dusted off everybody else, including, by the way, Rudy Giuliani, why didn't Trump stand firm? I mean, if he's the greatest ever.
Probably don't know that answer. And then why is he keeping Mark Meadows next to him? I don't get that.
Yeah, why is he keeping Mark Meadows next to him in this circumstance? I don't get it. I can't imagine. It's almost like he's a feckless loser and a failure, and everything he does everything he touches dies, as our dear friend Rick Wilson would say, and he shits the bed in every endeavor. Almost.
Because we know Mark Meadows is bad, and he's keeping him there, and we love Trump, but he's kept Ray in, he put Barr in, Jeff Sessions, it was he liked Jeff Sessions, Jeff just couldn't handle it. On and on. Why doesn't he get those people out?
He hired. What about this whole best people bullshit?
Those attorneys in the White House were terrible.
Yeah, they were.
It's ridiculous.
Yes, there were. She's right. There were horrible attorneys in the White House. Her, Victoria Tenzing, Rudy Giuliani.
And I don't understand. He has the power. Why he doesn't use it? That's what.
Why, if he's got so much power, is he such a feckless loser? Thank you, Benny Loco, reminding everybody to give a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Don't forget to do that. Also, I don't have my Venmo up. I should have put it up. Venmo.com/HalSparks or PayPal.me/HalSparks or Super Chat or because we're back on YouTube. That's lovely.
It gets me too. I do not begin to understand it. It makes absolutely no sense.
It's so biblical because Trump moves in mysterious ways.
It was like he was a hostage in his own presidency.
Oh, it's terrible. The poor guy.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy.
Yes, sir. Right here in the.
So Trump is absolutely crazy, or is powerless against crazy people. Okay, great. So that's why you want him to be president.
Front row. Well, I see you, ma'am. Yes, I see you.
Thank you, WW.
Hi, Carl Gollin, retired Special Agent, U.S. Customs, 9/11 responder, domain reference, and idea liveson.net. Ms. Powell, to place us in a broad context, we're in Dallas, where, of course, John Kennedy was assassinated. It's not widely discussed or spoken of that in the months before he was assassinated, his Attorney General, Robert, imposed upon the Israeli lobby the requirement to register as a foreign agent, which they never did due to Kennedy's death. He also aggressively opposed Israel obtaining nuclear weapons, which they did. There's a power there that, in your traveling around the world, that travel was replicated in 1951, a man named John Beatty, Beaty, formerly military intelligence.
Oh, this is good. This dude's straight up like InfoWars / QAnon Like, he's just dropping some mad heat on the daily assassination and Israel getting nukes and the Israeli government not being for a good God.
University professor, had traveled the world and wrote a book titled The Iron Curtain Over America, which ultimately...
The Iron Curtain Over America. So I'm sure, yeah.
Provides that Bolshevism, communism, Zionism are all intertwined.
Yeah, Bolshevism, Zionism, and communism are all intertwined. This is all Israel's fault. Is that where we're going with this?
And I'll just ask you, yes.
Somebody's somebody's grabbing them, coming over. Get to the fucking question.
Is there evidence that truly the hand in the glove of the deep state is something not in this country, that it's really even Talmudic Zionism, the power from the middle?
Oh, so yeah, it's the Israelis. Israeli Zionists are actually the hand of the deep state.
I have no idea.
Back in the middle. Yes, right there. She's raising her hand.
Yeah, give it to her next. I'm sure she'll have a much clearer question that doesn't reek of daddy issues and emotional codependence with Donald Trump and a fear of George Soros, Black Lives Matter, and Antifa really staging January. I don't know. Let's see.
Next to the gentleman in the cowboy hat,
The gentleman in the cowboy hat. I mean, are we in Texas at all? The gentleman? There's not dozens of them.
Hi, my name is Susan. We live in Toller, Texas. Sorry. My question is more what we can do in our local government, local areas. We have a situation in the county that we live in here in Texas where some of the ES&S voting machines were just purchased.
Yeah, don't go into the ES&S machines issue, especially if she starts quoting Mike Lindell. Let's.
And we had heard.
Oh, nice. Thank you, Loretta, for becoming a patron.
About those, our election administrator is under question right now where we live as well, and just kind of wanting to know your opinion on what we can do to try to remedy that type of situation.
Yes. Got to demand that the counties eliminate the computerized voting altogether.
Yeah, you're not going to like how that turns out.
All of the computerized voting systems have essentially the same DNA. And
so the states that Trump won, where the polling was way off magically, he was supposed to win by a lot, and weird.
Code and manipulation abilities. So
well, not if you have to go back and you look at the corresponding ballots and the number checks out and they have everywhere. And
any of the systems can do the same thing, can change your vote, can identify your vote, can switch your vote out with somebody else's, can assign your vote to somebody else, can make it look like you're another person. They all have extraordinary abilities to distort the
trans voting is a thing? Good Lord.
Entire voting process. So we've got to get back to paper ballots and we've got to get back to real voter ID. That needs to be the focus of a group in every single county across the country. If we can organize patriots to pursue that endeavor, that is probably going to prove
just
to be...
make sure there's ubiquitous ID available to everyone for free from the federal government that's verifiable. But you guys won't do that because right-wingers think that's the mark of the beast.
The most fruitful first avenue of correcting the entire problem. And it can be done on a county-by-county basis. As far as I know, Georgia is the only state that bought the Dominion system and forced it on every county in the state. Otherwise, it's a county-by-county.
Yeah, and Biden won the most populous counties, but then Trump won. If they were county-by-county, why? All right.
County decision. And that's where you have the most influence because your county commissioners live among you. And you can get to work at that level and have a big effect on the system. So we have to have paper ballots and we have to have real voter ID and demand transparency, complete transparency in the voting system.
Yeah, but Republicans won't go for that because they know if you actually have that, they'll never win another election ever. Seriously. Not a federal one, anyways.
If you're sitting there with paper ballots, you ought to be able to have a bipartisan group of people watching. It can be videoed now, just stick a camera over the shoulder, live stream it, whatever. There's no reason that we don't have complete.
There's no reason that why we don't live stream your private vote to the entire area so that lunatic wannabe incel psychopaths who believe that Donald Trump should be the magic king forever of America, spelled K-U-H, that those people shouldn't have access to your home address and how you vote. What?
Complete transparency in voting in this country.
No, we have a private vote. What do you mean complete transparency?
There's a lady right here in the ball cap. Right here in the white ball cap. She's right here in the...
It's not a ball cap, okay? It's a MAGA hat, and I don't play sports, all right? Because it's full of people who kneel for the flag.
Middle of the room. Yeah. And then we'll come over here, and then over here. Okay.
Yeah, good idea.
My name is Debbie, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
Hi, Debbie.
Just outside Fulton County.
You're in the thick of it.
Yeah, let me try.
No, she's outside the thick of it, technically.
My question is you were talking about in 2016 how Trump had the legal tools available to him.
He totally did. And then what happened?
To have done more, to have done what he could have done, at that time, and his lawyers were
Yeah, I know.
saying, no, let's just cut the losses, let's just go home, that kind of stuff. But
yeah, why? Yeah, good question. Why is he such a feckless loser? Why?
We hear from so many Anons and other people that we follow and discuss
Anons? Lovely.
is that they wanted to make the point to let Biden go ahead into the White House so that this would wake up the public even more.
That's what it was. It was the Susan Sarandon approach. They were doing with Biden what Susan Sarandon was suggesting with Trump. Like, the only way we'll get a true revolution to change the world is if we just let Trump get in there, and he's just so horrible. I mean, the people who were, killed, and the children who are disappeared, and who, are separated from their parents forever, and all the 600,000 dead in a pandemic from a guy who would dismantle the pandemic response team. That's just necessary. You gotta be willing to let that kind of blood be spilled in the name of your political desires. Otherwise it's just never going to happen on the time scale you want it to. You know what I mean? And so maybe that's what the Republicans were thinking. Like, yeah, if we get Biden, if Trump gets in for another term, sure, it'll be awesome. But, we got to let people know just how awful the Democrats can be. So let's just throw it.
And light a fire more underneath the Patriots.
Yeah, that was the problem, because the Patriots just weren't on fire enough.
Fight back against this rather than using the tools prior to the inauguration. And I was just wondering, because you seem very disappointed that he didn't use those tools, but do you see any benefit to doing
Yeah, I mean, you would be, wouldn't you? The guy's a loser.
The way they're doing it and just using it as a lesson to the public.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but no, I don't see a benefit to that.
Right up here in the front row on this.
Yeah, the long questions with the lunacy in them, they're just doing single answers and moving on.
Stage right up here. Yep.
Pick somebody safe.
Get somebody with a mic. Yeah, he's coming. Yes, ma'am.
While he's getting there, let me just add that I don't have any evidence that there is some grand underlying plan pursuant to which all this is going to be made right. I don't want to give anybody false hope that...
excuse me, that's what they paid for.
That is happening. I think ultimately it falls back to each of us and every citizen in this country who cares to stand up and make a difference right now. We cannot wait.
By make a difference, she means run for office in an election that can't be trusted. Oh God, I don't know how you motivate people with this bullshit.
Longer, we cannot assume anybody else is going to do it for us.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Carol Nichols from Dallas, Texas, and thank you, Sydney, for your leadership.
Hi, Carol Nichols from Dallas, Texas.
So we all know that the diamonds
I'm glad that they're cutting to the audience.
were stolen from Tiffany's. Okay, so what I want want to know is, what do you see as the legal landscape and the legal process to get them back? What are the 3 most important cases that are currently working their way through the system? And I understand it may take years, but just so that we can follow it, besides your case, what are some of the others, and also your case? Walk us through the actual process and what's going to happen over the next months and years that might...
Yeah, let us hang on to hope for years and years, so that after 2024, when Trump doesn't run again, or if he tries, he fails miserably early in the primary and gives up because he takes his ball and goes home because he's not getting 100% from whoever's remnant calling themselves Republicans in the future, or there's this third-party break-off where their conservative independents are now starting their own thing and it's a big split or whatever. Like, how do I hang on to hope past that?
It might ultimately lead to convictions.
Well, there are no criminal cases pending right now against anyone that I know of for the significant voter fraud we've witnessed, because the Department of Justice and the local attorney generals have done... Well, the Department of Justice hadn't done squat. In fact, the Department of Justice, even in the Trump administration, had all the U.S. attorneys stand down on any prosecutions of voter fraud, which is one of the biggest travesties of justice I've ever witnessed in my life.
But Trump is still the greatest leader you can imagine, and I still don't grasp this. Like, all these people can talk about is how shitty Trump was at his job and how easy it would have been for him to wrest control of the country. And he just won't or didn't or can't be bothered, and yet they still want him in office. I don't get it. I mean, they can't afford to turn on him because this entire crowd will, they'd be there with pitchforks and torches. But how do you walk both sides of that line?
My lifetime. It's absolutely appalling. It's just, I don't know what. I know that some very dark threats.
By the way, there's typing sounds going on in the background of this, so whoever posted it was typing at the same time they were recording it, which is probably why the sound is as bad as it is. And we're hearing that person type, just so you know.
Were made against at least 2 people that I know from high up in the Department of Justice. Very dark threats. And you have to remember that the Chinese Communist Party will do anything to maintain power. They have set up congressmen and senators. There is blackmail material galore out there. They extort.
It's a good point. That's why you want somebody like Trump in office, because no one has any compromise on him. What?
People, they threaten people's lives. They unleash things like the COVID virus. And
so again, she's buying into that this was an attack. And again, this goes to the whole ridiculousness. And by the way, YouTube, this is an if-then argument. Listen to me. I am not presenting this as a reality. I'm saying if what she's saying is true, then this is also true. It's a very important distinction. If what she's saying is true, that the Chinese released this into the country on purpose, according to her, then Trump was president during the largest bioweapon attack in American history, and he did nothing except kiss their ass, sign a trade deal, and sell them enormous amounts of food while Americans were in food lines. If you follow what they're saying, the opposite, it makes Trump look worse.
They have no limits to what they're willing to do. Life doesn't mean anything to them.
Well, theirs probably does, I'm guessing.
So, we've got just a huge fight on our hands there. There's a very important case going on now.
If life doesn't mean anything to them, then why was Eric over in China with Don Jr. making deals then? I mean, I know you think Hunter Biden made a bunch of money there, even though the company made the money before he actually joined it. But Eric was bragging about it. If they don't care about life, then why are the Trumps knee-deep in that? Why did Trump have a secret bank account that suddenly had $17 million in it? And why did Trump, as a billionaire, take $15 million out magically overnight out of an account he said he didn't know he had? Huh?
Now in Fulton County, Georgia. I'm not going to name it for a lot of reasons. In some ways, the less national attention it attracts, probably the better.
but there are important inroads being made there. And,
yeah, just make it up.
And
there is, I don't know if you know this, but there is a street in a city that will not be named, and the street, I will not tell you what street that is, but legally, according to Jesus's brother-in-law, Donald Trump is still president on that street right now. Anytime he wants to walk down it, he can launch a nuclear strike as long as he's at one of 3 coffee shops or he's having covfefe at any of them.
Maricopa County, no doubt, is going to result in litigation.
Well, that's because you guys are going to file litigation. That doesn't mean it's warranted.
We have a case we're ready, willing, and able to file as soon as we get the rest of the evidence that we need.
Okay, I believe ready and willing. I'm going to need some more information to buy the able part. So far, not so much.
File it. Right now, we don't have any election cases pending ourselves.
Really? Spell checks down?
There was an important one in Antrim County, Michigan, but the judge just threw that out.
Oh. For what? For what? Lack of punctuation?
For different reasons. And we're going to have to bring...
What reasons would those be? Bring those up. You just upset him again. Don't do that to the dude in the brown jacket. Tell him why they kicked it out so he can still believe that Trump's president of Main Street... Oh, I gave the name away.
More. I mean, we need at least 3 states. Fraud vitiates everything. So the ability to prove significant, not just voter fraud, which they think of as retail variety fraud, although that should be enough.
Yeah, if it was, Trump wouldn't have been able to run again because there was retail fraud on his behalf. Again, look up dead guy, a guy murders wife, votes for dead wife for Trump. Like, you know what? Guy murders wife, uses her vote to vote for president. Don't even look up Trump. I guarantee that's how it will come up.
The ability to prove this significant election fraud on a grander scale is going to be very important, and I think we're going to get more evidence of that in the next month or 2.
Yeah, anytime now. Yeah. It's guys, just hang in there a little while longer. Don't forget to give money, and of course, go to Trump's website and give him all the money that you could possibly have. Satire, comedy, joking. Do not. Thank you.
Significant amount of evidence of that. What really disturbs me is, even though we worked under an incredible time crunch right after the election to do
it was almost like you were ill-prepared and intellectually incapable of even fathoming the case you were making.
Anything, because there's a very short time frame that lawyers have to raise election challenges. That's what the geniuses behind this evil plan knew when they hatched it out.
By the way, there is indeed, Janet, there is a sound. That's my kid playing in the next room.
Is that it's
he's gaming while I'm on the air. That's our agreement.
Extremely difficult to challenge and overturn the results of an election, no matter the amount of fraud. We had enough evidence. There's enough evidence. If you go to SydneyPowell.com or...
okay, hold on one second. Let me see if I can do that. If I can, let's see. Hold on one second. Yipes. At least she's got a new picture. Author of the bestseller, License to Lie. Newsletter sign up. New from Harvey, Silvergate, and Sidney Powell. Conviction Machine. Get our books. Sidney Powell Explosive Interview. Retaking American Freedom. View more. What people are saying. Nesbitt's Opinion with guest Sidney Powell. January 26, 2020. Tulsa at the Health and Freedom Conference. Oh yeah, I remember that. Sidney Powell responds to the fake news. Sidney Powell is not backing down. It was kind of the same 9 things that were there before. Sorry, just saying. Oh God, we don't even have time for that today. This went long. By the way, this was longer than I thought it was going to be. She's part of a whole day of stuff. She must have been the anchor.
TheRepublic.org
You can find the filings that we made in the Supreme Court and look at the appendices that we filed with those cases. There are hundreds.
Yeah, I looked at the actual Kraken. I'm one of the people who went through it.
Hundreds of pages thick of affidavits and expert reports, mathematical impossibilities.
Yeah, statistics. Try filing a lawsuit. Your Honor, I would like, this woman cannot, technically, statistically, every woman I ask out wants to sleep with me. And therefore, she did not. So therefore, I would like to sue her for sex. Your Honor, statistically, she should technically have wanted to at least give me a handy. So, Your Honor, why are they shutting it? What do you mean standing? I'm standing right now.
We had data out the wazoo that
Yeah, that's not where they look, actually.
supported the fraud we were talking about, and statistical evidence that simply cannot be refuted.
Yes, it can. It's statistical. And it's based on elections that didn't happen during a pandemic. Oh my God. Statistically, there was an off-the-charts amount of mail-in voting. It must be fraud. You're on fire, man. She's a dragon. Thanks, Tra-Tra. It's the absurdity.
You cannot flip the same coin 100,000 times and it always comes up heads.
Yeah, that didn't happen anywhere.
And that'd be right. It's just.
And by the way, people don't vote by coin flip. They vote in patterns based on how they vote. Neighborhood to neighborhood, county to county, city to city. It changes over time. You can almost check it. That's like saying, well, I mean, if the Democrats don't lose the House in 2022, because statistically, the whoever is president one year, they lose if they have the House or Senate, they lose it during the next election. Statistically, that doesn't mean they're factually going to do it. And think about just what an asshole you have to be to think that voting is done by coin flip in this.
Just a mathematical.
Cindy, I can't fix the mod page thing in Facebook yet because they just updated the thing behind it. I apologize for that.
Statistical impossibility.
I will do it as soon as the page comes online. On my end, it's not online. It doesn't work. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what they want us to believe. Meanwhile, we have the mainstream media out there just running propaganda for the communist left. I mean, it's American Pravda, as James O'Keefe called it in his book several years ago. It's a propaganda machine.
Didn't he go to jail?
And they're trying to convince everybody that Biden won the election when there's no way that's true. No way.
Yeah,
we all know it. We saw.
No, he won. It's entirely possible because Trump lost the popular vote the first time, and he was an unknown entity. He was known by the time it ended. And everybody had access to voting in a way that they didn't before because of mail-in voting. And early voting.
If you were watching election night, you saw tens of thousands of votes go backwards.
No, you didn't. You watched tens of thousands of votes come in all night long. I was up all night. I didn't go to bed at 10 and wake up in the morning going, oh my God, he was winning when I went to sleep.
It just doesn't happen. And
yes, it does. It happens all the time. Go see Bush v. Gore. Go see Obama's election night victory.
Everybody knows it. Everybody around the world knows it.
No, they don't. Everybody around the world knows you're a lunatic. They've moved on.
Laughing stock of the world right now because they.
No, we're not. They breathed a huge sigh of relief, and Biden's policies are unbelievably popular with Republicans.
Know about the massive fraud.
Thank you, Aggie.
Just happened, and they're terrified. There are other countries that have evidence of the fraud, and they haven't come forward with it.
Yeah, they're so scared.
Because they're terrified of what the Biden administration might do to them.
Yeah, they might give them solar panels or something. What?
All the power that the presidency has. And we know Biden isn't exercising it. He can't exercise tying his shoelaces. So,
That's weird because everything he talked about in his debates, everything he talked about in his campaign, he's actually in the process of doing.
It's very disheartening. And I know the American people are sad and sickened and fed up, and nobody
No, actually we're not. We're actually quite relieved.
knows what to do. There is no easy solution.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Let Biden continue to carry out his presidency and try and run against it if you can. That won't be easy, but it'll be easier than trying to overturn the United States government.
I'm convinced that
based on fantasy fart air.
we can do it, that we have to look for the truth everywhere we can possibly find it. And as the truth becomes more and more apparent, so will...
You mean the truth that Trump lost?
...the road to fixing it. We just have to keep after it.
Yeah,
and that's going to take everybody. I would ask everybody to go to sydneypowell.com and sign up for our newsletter.
Sign up for the newsletter. And now she knows that time is running down. Do they have a clock on stage? Is that a little mini clock for their time that they're going to be up there? And she knows it's time to do the
letter. It's free.
To do the whatever jab hook, right?
We're sending it out several times a week. We're putting in
no doubt
there information you need to know. We've started a billboard campaign, the right to refuse the jab.
You mean the vaccine that Trump is proud of, that he says he came up with, even though the companies that had it first that are the most successful, specifically Pfizer, but also Moderna, actually they weren't a part of Operation Fartsteed. Sorry, 1 second.
Captain's log.
That you mean that literally you're so let me get this straight, if I may. The entirety of this talk is about how Trump allegedly won the election. Biden stole it, even though he can't tie his shoes and he doesn't know what day it is, and he falls down going up steps, and he's too old to do anything. But the people around him are so they're, I guess, Zionist, Democrat, communists. And that's the most important thing. That's what they've been talking about nonstop. That's what every question this dude has asked you about. And what is the money that you're raising on your website going to do? To stop people from taking a vaccine that Trump is proud of. I don't get this. And look and listen to the applause.
And we've collected a lot of information now.
Money and personal information. They have your email. They have your It won't be hacked though. I'm sure they'll have security top notch, like parlor level security on your details.
On the vaccine and its effects, so people.
You want to go skinny dipping with the Kraken lady? Oh, good Lord.
Can make an informed decision on what to do about it. We're looking at cases to litigate on masks and the vaccine.
Why? Again, what is this? What are you talking about? I'm really, it's harder and harder to grasp why these assholes are fighting to get Trump back in the White House when they think the vaccine isn't to be believed. They think that the virus was an actual attack, which meant while he was president, if it was an attack, America suffered the greatest bioweapon attack in its history, and he let it slide and pretended it wasn't happening and shit like that. And now that Biden's in office, that I this is so weird. Does this make sense to anyone? Is there a maggot or a Trumpster in the crowd that buys what she's selling and also thinks Trump is great? Because they seem to be at odds to me.
We're going to fight for each of our individual liberties and try to restore the republic in every way we possibly can.
There's nothing wrong with the republic. Seriously, what is it? What are they trying to shut down? What, that 0.005% of the populace might be able to do women's sports if they are trans? Is that the fall of the republic? Is it like bailing our entire economy out of the hole Trump got us into by getting us into a deficit a year ago, February, and then COVID hit because he got rid of the pandemic response team. The George Floyd situation happened and the riots that ensued because he got rid of the cops program. That could have broomed Chauvin from the Minneapolis police in the years before. It very possibly would have, meaning George Floyd would be alive right now, and the unrest that came from it might not have happened. But all that, and you want Trump back in office. I don't get it. I really don't. Like I'm racking my brain trying to figure out how they believe what they believe and how they also want what they want at the same time. It seems like an amazing contradiction in terms.
There's no one simple path to any.
Well, you are one simple woman, so and he is one simple man. I'm sure between the two of you, you have one simple idea each.
We've got to come at it from every angle we can find. But
that sounds exhausting and yet exciting, depending on what it is, I suppose.
The first big one is to arm yourselves and all your friends with the correct information.
Okay. Phew.
There are more of us than there are of them.
No, there aren't. If that was true...
This country is not really divided. Americans stick together.
Yeah, that's true. The majority of Americans support Biden's plans for infrastructure, for example, even if 0 Republicans in the Senate will vote for it.
Americans are the greatest people on the face of the earth. We're the ones...
Except for when they have the Insurrection Act at their fingertips and just won't use it for God knows why.
Ones who have died all over the world to help other people, not ourselves.
Well, obviously, we help ourselves when we're helping other people in the wars you're specifically talking about, because we're stopping the encroachment of communism in a lot of cases, and the Russians and the Germans, and we had a stake in that, not just because we wanted it. All right. Lord.
We're the most giving, the most charitable, the most concerned for our fellow citizens' country on the face of the earth. And
most concerned for our fellow citizens' country.
We want to stay that way. We can only help other people through a position of strength. So we have to put our own oxygen masks on first, just like they tell us on the plane. We have to keep ourselves strong.
So you should get vaccinated so that you don't give it to somebody else. If you got, if you have a robust immune system, it's very important for you to actually have it earlier so you don't carry it asymptomatically, for example. Would that be, no? Is that what we're talking about? That's not where she was going? Weird.
They are trying to weaken us. They're trying to destroy the middle class. We just can't let that happen. No more shutdown.
What?
No more shutdowns of any kind.
Nobody's trying. Oh, thank you so much. Thanks for becoming a patron. Patreon.com/HalSparks. Thanks very much. We have a goal of 1,000. It's gonna take us forever to get there. But at one point I thought it took us forever to get to 5,000 subscribers and on YouTube, even with them hamstringing me at every turn. And what do you know? We got to 18,307. We got 317 just in the last 28 days. It's starting to...
Over here.
Yeah, one last question. God, I'm over this. I feel like Carlin when he's like, sometimes I get stuck in these ballads, man.
Over here on this side, say we got so. Yes, ma'am. Yes, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Peggy Brown from
Hi, Peggy.
Texas. I lived for 22 years on the Rio Grande in Brownsville, Texas, right across from Matamoros, Mexico. For 22 years, I watched every time we had an election, our supermarkets had card tables set up. And everyone that walked in, do you have a driver's license? Do you want to have a voter's registration? They never asked, are you a citizen or anything? I had friends who lived in Matamoros, Mexico, particularly Shelby and Mildred Longoria, who were very close friends of mine, and they laughed about the fact that they voted in our election because they had driver's license by using their daughter's address who lived in Brownsville. And she said, most of northern Mexico votes in the election. Don't blame us. I also had a 6-acre ranch.
So you're saying the fact that Republicans traditionally win Texas is because of this? So Republicans have figured this out a long time ago in Texas, and they're paying for votes in Mexico. What? Thank you so much, Daniel.
Ranch in Duval County, when the Lyndon Johnson ran for election, I watched as he was called the Duke of Duval, George Parr. A late Fox 13 came in after the election had closed. And guess what? There was enough votes to put Lyndon Johnson over as the winner. And it took 7 years for them to figure out that there were more votes in that box than there were babies, adults, tombstones, and cattle in New York County. All they had to do was look at the voter registration. It could have been done in 30 minutes, not 7 years. And I know on 60 Minutes.
Look, I know we're relitigating 2020, and they want to relitigate 2016 as well. But we're really going back to Lyndon Johnson?
About 30 years ago, they had an entire program. They had sent one of their representatives down on Figueroa Street. Within less than 30 minutes, he came back to them with a legitimate, which passed as legitimate, birth certificate, driver's license, Social Security, and all. We are this thing of how we're going to do this election. I've served on a committee under Reagan. And since that time, I have been screaming almost, we have got to have citizenship cards that are like.
Yes, ma'am. Tell Sidney Powell and everyone in that room why we don't have a universal American photo ID that gives us, that acts, like a passport card, given out free to every American citizen, and that is verifiable, and that you don't serve a lot of time if you falsify one, like mandatory sentences for falsifying one of these, and that you get deported and you can never become a citizen if you fake one if you're from another country. Tell these folks why we need that and why it should be free to all American citizens, because it's the card that guarantees your rights, the American Rights Card, right? Not Rights Card. That sounds too. I'll have to come up with another name. Actually, that might be the thing that makes them actually sign up for it. Yeah, explain to everybody there why Republicans won't do that.
Like our driver's
Thanks,
license.
Dazzler.
I don't care where your mother came from, father, grandparents, or anything. If you're an American citizen, no matter where anybody else was born, or where even you were born, if you're a legal citizen, you get to vote and you get a card. And they need to be sent.
That's right, universal card. Tell them, ma'am, and then have everybody there tell you why that's the mark of the beast.
We can be proud of. They are literally watering down our citizenship. We don't have citizenship anymore.
No, we definitely don't have citizenship anymore. Like if you go to court or whatever, and you speak English, they'll go, would you like a Spanish translator? Just because we have a couple of them sitting around. I mean, nobody's really a citizen. The laws don't apply to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, ma'am. Bye.
Thank you.
I'm with her.
One reminder. If you have a question for Sydney, ask the question. Beautiful story. No more stories, right? Ask a question. Right over here.
But she did have a question. Why don't we have a card? I think was initially part of that. Answer that question. Here's the answer. You want to know the answer? Republicans won't have it. They think having a ubiquitous federal voter card that is your national ID is the mark of the beast, instead of a modern sign of citizenship.
Over here in the front row, there's some more people. Yes, ma'am, in a hat.
Yes, ma'am, in a hat. Last one. Please, God.
Hi, thank you, Sydney. My name is Dr. Tammy, and I just want to say thank you for your website, because I read
Thank you for your website.
it all the time, and it's helped me. I'm looking forward to tomorrow to kind of learn about the action steps
Oh, there
that
she
we can
is.
take when our federal rights are violated. So especially Title 18, Section 241, oppression against rights, and 242, color of law, deprivation of rights. I love the Great Awakening, and I always say the Bible
Didn't he just tell you no more stories? What's your question?
is our instruction book, and the Constitution is our playbook. So my question is, are you and others going to help us learn how to take that Constitution and put it in action? As a physician, I know it breaks your heart when I see children.
Oh, good Lord.
abused in.
Oh my God, we're going straight up Q now. Like, are they gonna? They don't have a slideshow where they show like, Nancy Pelosi holding a baby with a straw in its head.
Masks, because it's irrefutable. They're child abuse. It says it on the side of the box.
It says it on the side of the box of face masks that it's child abuse. What? What? Where are you buying these boxes? What?
I feel so upset, especially because you guys have witnessed it yourself. A lot of you are amazing.
Ma'am, could you let her just answer your question?
Ma'am, we need a question, please.
She did ask a question. How are you going to help us use the Constitution to America? Something.
What do
Babies, child abuse masks.
we do about right now, like urgently, I feel it's the kids in masks. How do we get them out?
Well, in a couple of months, they're going to have a vaccine available for younger and younger kids. But it's the important way would be to get yourself vaccinated and raise the number so much that the chances statistically of a kid running into anybody with this kind of infectious disease is next to nil, and therefore you wouldn't need them anymore.
Out of the masks. Airplanes, they're making them wear masks, even little people. How do we...
Little people? What? You think little people are immune somehow? What?
How can we do that? What tools can you give us or suggestions you can give us? And if our rights are breached, how would you suggest we handle it?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to have to litigate, I'm sure, the issue with respect to masks.
We're going to have to litigate, I'm sure. Why does she sound like Buffalo Bill all of a sudden?
And the airlines.
Yeah, I think I read about her in the paper.
Although I did hear
thank you, Jill.
say that TSA is supposedly going to eliminate the mask requirement by September. Why it isn't now, I don't know. There's no
because we're still below 50%, and there's a bunch of anti-maskers and anti-vaxxers like you that are causing the contagion to spike in red states. It's gone down in all the states where vaccines are high by 10.5% at this point, 10.6, and and infections are up 3% in states where vaccinations are low. So what could possibly be the correlation or the causation in this circumstance? I can't imagine.
No excuse for that. The majority of the population has already acquired herd immunity.
No, they haven't. By the way, she's as good a epidemiologist as she is a lawyer.
One of the things we learned as we were looking into the COVID vaccine situation ourselves at Defending the Republic is that the immunity you have naturally from having had COVID already is far.
If you live and you don't have COVID brain and you don't have all the other ancillary problems, or if it doesn't come back in 10 years like shingles, which we don't and can't know from the original, just like having chicken pox.
Or stronger than
Jesus.
anything you can get from the vaccines, even.
That's just a blatant lie. That's not even close to true. She's quoting Rand Paul. That's where she's talking from. This is just shit she heard Rand Paul say on Tucker.
That the vaccines were harmless. And one of the things you need to know about them also is they are not approved. They have not been licensed and approved at all.
Well, that's... Yeah, they haven't been there. It's emergency use authorization because of the actual function of getting it out. That's because of Operation Fart Steed. The whole purpose of Operation Fart Steed was that they get it out quickly, and so you had to use the FDA emergency use authorization rather than get it through the. That's the whole. It would have been 3 to 5 years, at least 2 years. They were saying 3. We cut that in half, but because of Operation Fart Steed, that's why they will be over time. But we're kind of in a hurry because there's a global pandemic going on. That was why emergency use authorization. Jesus.
They were approved for emergency use only under the emergency authority, and frankly,
right.
There should be no emergency authority for anything when a disease has a 99+% cure rate.
it doesn't have a 99% plus cure rate.
So inform yourselves by looking at.
So Trump was lying when he said to Bob Woodward it was highly contagious and much more deadly. And the 600,000 people that died, they just, also had underlying things, and that's what killed them. So anybody, by the way, everybody in that place, maybe 4 of them in this room that they're gathered at, don't have the comorbidities that would kill you.
At defendingtherepublic.org and the COVID information we've collected there, America's Frontline Doctors, Simone Gold, and others are working on that also.
Honest to God, this is effectively, it's a one-stop shop for everything that could get you kicked off of YouTube. Congratulations, guys. It's anti-vaxxer and it's election fraud stuff magically rolled into one boring, drawn-out, dry, miserable podcast fest.
We are doing some things in conjunction with them. There's a lot that Defending the Republic is working on behind the scenes that we just can't talk about until we get the case.
No, you can't. Why would you talk about stuff until you had all your ducks in a row? It's not like you're talking about Dominion or the election or vaccines. Yeah, get all your stuff. Wait before you just tell everybody, of course, that vaccines are dangerous and worthless and all that kind of stuff. That you can just go ahead and say. This stuff you want to wait on.
The case is filed. But we are working on everything. I have a team of 7 lawyers that are putting in obscene hours at seriously reduced pay from what they could be making in the private sector to fight on all these issues because we...
Well, not really. You get what you pay for. No, none of them are pulling down top dollar.
We all love this country.
And that's why we need you to go to my website and sign up for my fundraiser. My newsletter.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our time with Sidney Powell today. Sidney, I can't thank you enough for allowing me.
I can. I could thank her enough. By not.
Part of this. Thank you. Sidney Powell, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks very much. Bye. Thanks for holding on to my purse. And don't forget, send your money straight to...
And it'll happen fast.
Hold on. Don't forget. Hold on.
Now. Send your money to DonaldJTrump.com. We will get the right people in office, and it'll happen fast.
Totally. So fast. That's how you spell Covfefe in the original Trump language, by the way, the words of the gods. So, yeah, satire. Everybody, I'm just making fun of, don't believe anything they say. Although I do think that if you do support Donald Trump, you should do exactly what that video is. You should send your money there, please. Just immediately. Just send him as much money as you could squeak out. The man needs to orange himself up more. This is like, he's got a real... Did he just rinse his hair in Diet Coke and that's what happens? Is that what it looks like? Whatever. Yikes. He is definitely not eating as well now that he's not president. Now that he has to pay for his own food, his inner cheapskate has come out. Yeah. Holy God. All right, I'm going to sign off. Thank you guys for, and again, thanks to my son Camden, who is now 10 years old. Oh my, his first decade. We got him through his first decade. Now I got to go through, get the next one. This is going to be a fun ride the next decade. I'm very excited about it. I'm looking forward to when he's 14 or 15 and thinks I'm completely full of shit, because it's a necessary part of growing up. I will cherish it with everything inside me. So I will see. We'll see what he chooses tomorrow for our look and scheme of things. And there's a bunch of stuff we didn't get to today. We didn't get to Eric Trump on there. We didn't get to Mike Flynn at that event. What is happening there? We didn't get to Roger Stone saying it's a witch hunt. And well, we'll end with this. Here's a My Pillow ad.
Welcome to Sleepyville, where no
Oh my God.
one sleeps deeply. The pillows are bad and the sheets are made cheaply.
maybe it's because they all sleep in this weird, like highly sanitized white world of square pillows and no comfort. Jesus God, this is
But
so
there is
loud.
one family in the Sleepyville town that uses My Pillow for the best sleep around. My pillows are adjustable for proper alignment, and the Giza sheets breathe so they feel no confinement.
Wow.
So order My Pillow for great sleep refinement.
Q-snatch.
Why are they so chipper?
Their co-workers wondered.
So much energy and zest, like they've had the best slumber.
And when they peeked in the window, the secret was clear. My Pillow sheets, pillows, and mattress toppers appeared. My Pillow is breathable and lasts more than 10 years.
He sounds drunk, I'm gonna say. Like he genuinely.
It's washable and dryable and was manufactured right here. Giza cotton is what makes the
I'm dead serious. Drunk.
softest of sheets, and the mattress topper helps support pressure points for deep, dreamy sleep. So click the link below to stop counting sheep.
We want My Pillow.
The citizens of Sleepyville cried, but they didn't realize the family had a surprise inside. They were all given a My Pillow.
What?
To keep. We spend a third of our life snoozing, so let's make it quality sleep.
I got towels too.
And mine are blue.
So welcome to My Pillowville, where everyone sleeps on the pillows that align and the softest of sheets. With the support of the mattress.
Oh my God, this goes on forever. The hell? And they're reusing shots. That guy and this, and like, he's having a hard
Sheets
time.
feel like Brillo. You need better sleep, which means you need My Pillow.
Good Lord. I can't. And then we, of course, have Don Jr. complaining about this. And then, of course, I mean, let's just all rest on... Jesus. Let's all just rest on this image of Sean Hannity. Just... What is happening here, Sean? What are you doing? What is happening to Sean Hannity? Good Lord. All right, I'm going to sign off. I went long tonight. I appreciate you guys hanging with me. I got to go play and go have some dinner with my kid. And love you guys. And thank you guys for joining me again on YouTube, where we're back. Thanks to you guys fighting for me and for me being, fighting back and not having it on Twitter. That cleared that stuff up. By the way, I still have the appeal rejected listed on my site. They haven't moved that notification out. Weird. Thanks, HD Breakout. I don't know. Help. I don't know what to do. What is Sean Hannity doing? This is so frightening. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, everybody.